Chapter 30. Looking at how her big sister didn't even eat the food and gave all the food to her brother-in-law to eat, Qin Yutong was dumbstruck. Were they quarreling just now? Obviously it was brother-in-law who admitted defeat first. Why did it make it seem like sister was the one who was afraid? Yihua was still very satisfied with Qinya tonight. I feel a bit like someone's wife. Gradually half of the crayfish was gone. Qinya wrinkled her eyebrows and continued to peel the crayfish. However, right now her fingers were already a little painful. After all, those hands of hers in the past were carefully taken care of, and adding on that her skills in peeling crayfish were not up to par. Qinya was this kind of woman. She would do what she said, no matter how bitter it was, she would still complete her promise. Done. Yihua shouted faintly, then passed the prawn meat in his bowl to Qinya. The stubborn Qinya didn't give Yihua face at all. She picked up the prawn meat and put it back, then continued to peel the prawn meat. Qin Yutong lightly sighed. Big sister is still as stubborn as before. Yihua didn't say anything. He seemed to have discovered another strong point of Qinya. Perhaps Qinya isn't that stupid anymore. Finally, Qinya finished peeling all of the crayfish, and the crayfish meat in Yihua's bowl was filled to the brim. Looking at her fingers that had turned red, Qinya felt very sad as she felt a burning sensation on her fingers. Eat a bit. Yihua passed his bowl to Qinya and said lightly. At least you have some conscience. Qinya took off her glove, picked up a piece of prawn meat and placed it into the gravy, stirred it for a bit, then ate it in satisfaction. This is truly delicious. Yihua silently gazed at Qinya. Just a moment ago, Qinya had a sad look on her face, but after eating a piece of prawn meat, she looked as if she was about to become drunk. Qin Yutong felt that coming here today was the right choice. The two of them were truly too much fun. Sis, how about we go watch a movie later? Avengers 3, it's super cool. Qin Yutong suggested. I also really want to go and film the movie, but it's a pity that I don't have a role in it. It's a tragedy. It's not possible to forcefully add a hero into the movie, right? Qinya, who was eating the prawn, said faintly, ask him. Brother-in-law, let's go. It is very nice to watch. When a big celebrity starts acting coquettishly, no man would be able to resist her. He felt that Qinya's performance today was not bad and should be rewarded. Sure. That's true, big sister. Let's go and prepare. I have to go fully armed, Qin Yutong said excitedly, completely unaware of the fact that Yihua had already tacitly agreed to be the head of the family, and everything that Qin Yutong did had to go through Yihua's approval before she could do anything. Yihua took out a tissue and wiped his mouth, then stood up and sat on the sofa. Today, Qinya was already cleaning the house, and Yihua was feeling extremely gratified in his heart. This is developing in a good direction, and furthermore, after cleaning the house today, Qinya didn't complain at all. Not bad, not bad. Qinya laughed tenderly in her heart. Do you think that I have become a lot more obedient? Let me tell you, Yihua, this is all an illusion. Bastard, he actually dared to instruct me to peel so many crayfish. I will definitely take revenge for this. Since his sister-in-law wanted to dress up, Yihua gave up the bedroom and came to the office to smoke. I wonder if that Long Outyin has been dealt with yet. Evidently, it would not be that fast. Although Death Assassin had superb searching abilities, he still needed time, and he did not have Wei Chang's abnormal strength. After continuously smoking 2 cigarettes, Yihua became a bit impatient. Is there a need to dress up for such a long time? Do you think this is a beauty contest? To actually make me wait for such a long time. Standing up and leaving the office, Yihua directly pushed open the door and arrived at the bedroom. Qinya could be seen sitting at the side, holding onto a mirror and carefully dressing up. Yihua couldn't help but say, you are already beautiful enough. Is there a need to dress up for such a long time? Qinya paused for a moment, then looked at Yihua and said faintly, am I really that beautiful? Yihua wrinkled his brows. This woman likes to ask questions that she already knows the answer to. Don't make me answer such a stupid question. Is this question very stupid? The bathroom door could be seen being opened and another Qinya walked out. Yihua was a bit surprised. After taking a look at the two Qinya, I am actually unable to differentiate them with my naked eyes. This Qin Yutong is not bad. However, what I can be sure of is that this Qinya who came out from the bathroom is the real Qin Yutong, and the one who put on makeup is Qin Yutong. Just now, when Qinya was going to the bathroom, she heard the conversation outside. This fellow said that I am beautiful, at least you are tactful. You even know how to say a few nice words, but thinking about how my little sister put on makeup to look like me again, my head hurts. In actuality, the two sisters do have some degree of similarity. Both of them have a height of 1.75 m and their body figures are about the same as well. Adding on that Qin Yutong's makeup skills are able to pass off as the real Qin Yutong, Even Yi Hua was fooled, let alone other people. Right now, when the two of them stand together, they look just like the same person. Qing Yutong even had to imitate their hairstyle and clothes. Simple ponytail, white t-shirt, slim-fitting jeans, pure yet not sexy, especially the height of the two women, which created a pair of extremely long and beautiful legs. It was simply blinding. Yi Hua discovered that this Qing Yutong's acting skills were indeed not bad, to be able to imitate even Qing Ye's expression. If he really wanted to find a difference, then he could only look at the curve of the chest. Qing Ye's chest was normal, while Qing Yutong's chest was more well-developed. If not, it would really be very hard to differentiate them, unless he used his ability. "Why are you pretending to look like me again?" Qing Ye shouted at her little sister. "When I was studying, my little sister always liked to pretend to look like me and do evil things, and in the end I would have to take the blame. My little sister is simply too bad." Qing Yutong immediately smiled, and her composure immediately collapsed. Holding onto her big sister's arm, she said cutely, "Big sister, we are sisters. It is normal for us to look alike. If not, even if I put on makeup, it would still be useless. Moreover, if I don't pretend to look like big sister, who else can I pretend to look like?" Speaking up to here, Qing Yutong became a bit sorrowful. The acting skills of a movie queen came again. Although Qing Ye didn't really like this little sister, at the very least she was still a little sister, and they were related by blood. Just this once. Enbo, Qing Yutong gave a kiss to Qing Ye. Qing Ye felt very uncomfortable. She discovered that her little sister had changed a lot after coming back this time. Yi Hua looked at the two beautiful sisters fooling around indifferently. There was not a bit of ripple in his heart, even if he was facing such an erotic scene. "Let's go," Yi Hua said indifferently. "I don't like to drag things out." Qing Ye shouted out, "We are all not in a hurry. What are you, a grown man, being in a hurry for?" Yi Hua did not speak. "I really don't want to quarrel with this woman. It will only pull down my IQ." Right now, it was 7 p.m. According to the situation in the past, leisure bar would have gradually become popular, but when Yi Hua took a look today, at least half of the customers were gone. What's going on? Could it be that I am being targeted by someone? Seeing the boss appear, all of the women that were sitting at the bar exclaimed in admiration endlessly, "The boss is so handsome." However, when they saw the pair of beautiful sisters coming down from upstairs, their faces that were still exclaiming in admiration just a moment ago immediately darkened. In the past, the boss was alone. Although there was no hope, at least there was still hope. Right now, the boss is smitten with the pair of beautiful sisters, and furthermore, seeing such beautiful sisters for the first time, they immediately did not have the mood to continue staying here. In just a few seconds, the 4 to 5 women left, and they even snorted coldly. Chapter 31. Qing Ye could be seen walking forward, hugged onto Yi Hua's arm and said, "My dear, let's go quickly." Seeing that, Qing Yutong immediately understood her big sister's intention. She wants to cause trouble and make brother-in-law go bankrupt. Interesting. Qing Yutong also hugged onto Yi Hua's other arm and said softly, "Brother-in-law, let's go quickly, it is going to start soon." In just a moment, more than 10 women could be seen turning around and walking away, leaving behind only 3 customers. From their expressions, it seems like they are only here to get drunk. Wei Chang sighed, "If this goes on, I will really go bankrupt." The waiters and security guards in the bar were also helpless. Ever since the boss openly brought women back, the business had not been that good. And now he brought 2 women back at once, and they were even twins. How could others not be angry? After all, the women who came here to drink were all here for the boss. Looking at the boss and the twins, Tang Wei's heart had already calmed down a lot, seemingly no longer infatuated with the boss. Turning her head and looking at Wei Chang, she felt that Uncle Wei was much more amiable than the boss, considerate and caring, and also a handsome uncle type. Satisfied, Yi Hua said gravely. Qing Ye and Qing Yutong immediately let go of Yi Hua's arm, and as if nothing had happened, they walked forward with large strides. In the past, just Qing Ye alone was already troublesome enough, and now there is also a sister-in-law. I feel that she is not a good person either. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have let her come. Qing Ye did not make a mistake this time. Having more beds is not that simple. Coming to the outside of leisure bar, Yi Hua looked around. In the past, the bar would be packed with people at this time, and now it is actually so bleak. Qing Ye secretly took a glance at Yi Hua, feeling great from head to toe. "I will anger you bastard to death. Do you really think that I am easy to mess with? Let me peel crayfish, I will make you go bankrupt." "Drive," Qing Ye said to her little sister, and Qing Yutong spread out her hands. The 2 sisters sat at the front, while Yi Hua sat at the back like a big boss. Wanting to teach Qing Ye a good lesson is simply too difficult, This is really a headache. I didn't expect that there would be a day where I would be troubled over a woman. 10+ minutes later, everyone arrived at the All Things shopping center. Inside there was a one-stop service of eating, drinking and playing. All Things Cinema was also a high-end cinema. A movie ticket cost around 100 RMB. To ordinary consumers, it was really a luxury. However, this time Avengers 3 was screening, and for the sake of pursuing high-quality enjoyment, a lot of people came here to watch it. If it wasn't for Qin Yutong having booked the tickets online in advance, it was reckoned that there wouldn't be any seats left. When Yi Hua brought Qin Ya and Qin Yutong and appeared in the shopping mall, everyone stopped their footsteps and revealed a look of shock in their eyes, because this pair of twins looked too alike. It was as if they were the same person, and the important point was that they were very beautiful. With a model-like height of 1.75 meters, she was destined to have a pair of long and beautiful legs that could be used for a lifetime. Although her clothes were ordinary, her overall temperament was excellent. It had to be said that she was too dazzling. What was even more eye-catching was the man. His temperament was a bit cold. Although there were beautiful women beside him, there was no trace of pride in his eyes. It was as if everything was natural, as if it was a great honor for these two women to be by his side. This combination of attractiveness was really unparalleled. Men looked at beautiful women and women looked at handsome men. They did not interfere with each other. The three of them directly arrived at All Things Cinema, and there were quite a lot of people waiting to enter the cinema. Qinya said to her sister, "Let's collect the tickets and buy snacks." Qin Yutong pursed her lips. "Big sister, when did you become lazy? Learn from your brother-in-law. When you are not here, these jobs will be done by me. When you are here, these jobs will be done by you. Of course, you can also go and live in a hotel." Qinya spread out her hands and said helplessly. Qinya wants to chase Qin Yutong away. However, chasing Qin Yutong away is also good. Qin Yutong is not someone who is easy to deal with, and furthermore she is also Qinya's little sister, so I won't really do anything to her. No. Why would I care about the relationship between humans? After hearing that, Qin Yutong opened up her sexy little mouth, pointed at the two people and said, "Big sister, brother-in-law, you two, how can you two bully a little girl like this? There are a lot of people queuing up, quickly go and come back quickly. I want Sprite and popcorn." Yi Hua said faintly. "I want Coke and popcorn." Qinya imitated Yi Hua's tone and said. Qin Yutong's face was filled with disbelief, and after holding it in for a long time she said, "You guys are truly arrogant." Yi Hua and Qinya did not pay attention to Qin Yutong and found a seat to sit down. Qin Yutong, who was unwilling to give up, came in front of Yi Hua and stretched out her hand. "What is it?" Yi Hua asked. "You need money to buy things, give me money." Qin Yutong said angrily. "No, look for your big sister." "Don't look at me, I didn't bring any money, look for your brother-in-law." Qinya immediately dispelled her little sister's thoughts. "When did my little sister's temper become so good?" Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. "As a woman, you don't even bring any money when you go out. As a man, you don't even bring any money when you go out." Qinya replied coldly. Seeing that the two of them were about to start quarreling again, Qin Yutong gave in. "You two don't quarrel, I will buy it all right." Yi Hua and Qinya snorted coldly. Neither of them paid attention to the other. Qin Yutong, who was queuing up to buy things, was very gloomy. "I am a famous movie empress, and in the morning I was still being chased after by a group of fans, and right now I actually became an errand boy. This contrast is a bit big, but it is very interesting. Brother-in-law is a man who doesn't walk the normal path, and big sister's change is even more extraordinary, as if she has changed into a different person. Could it be that pregnant is really 3 years of stupidity?" After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Qin Yutong finally completed the task without any mishaps. "My lords, these are your things." Yi Hua took a look at Qinya, and the latter immediately understood what he meant. "To even let me insert a straw, do you have to be so lazy? Do you still want to live happily or not?" Qin Yutong didn't understand. "I have already bought things back. Why do the two of you still have this kind of expression on your faces? We must be enemies in our previous lives, right?" Looking at Yi Hua's threatening expression, Qinya was very unhappy. However, there were a lot of people here, so I will give him a bit of face and properly teach him a lesson when we go back. Stretching out his hand and inserting the straw into the Sprite, Yi Hua's expression eased up. Qin Yutong, who was at the side, almost spat out the drink she was drinking. So there is actually such a thing. Did big sister have some blackmail on brother-in-law? Why is big sister so obedient? 8:10 p.m., Avengers 3 can enter the venue. 8:10 p.m., Avengers 3 can enter the venue. 8:10 p.m., Avengers 3 can enter the venue. After the broadcast rang for 3 times, they were finally able to enter the venue. Qin Yutong was in high spirits, while Yi Hua and Qin were very calm, seemingly not very interested, especially Yi Hua. Needless to say, Yi Hua sat in the middle like a big boss, while Qin and Qin Yutong sat at the sides, looking just like a princess. Of course, that was under Yi Hua's contrast. Chapter 32. Especially Thanos' gloves and those gem combinations, could they really achieve such an effect? To actually be able to exterminate half of the people in the entire universe? To be honest, under the situation where Yi Hua didn't borrow the help of items, Yi Hua wouldn't be able to do it. At the very most, with a snap of his fingers, he would be able to exterminate everyone on Earth. Touching onto the ring on his finger, there are a few pairs of gloves and a few chests of various kinds of gems inside. I wonder if I will be able to achieve the same effect by matching the gems in the movie. Yi Hua expressed that he was very curious about it. If I am bored one day, I can give it a try. Damn, Thanos really made a move, this is too powerful. Qin Yutong, who was at the side, cried out in surprise, then hurriedly drank a mouthful of a beverage to suppress her shock. Yi Hua said faintly, "So. If I don't act cool, we are still husband and wife." Qin discovered that right now the thing that she liked to do the most was to diss Yi Hua. Right now, Yi Hua seemed to be a bit immune to Yi Hua's temper, and he wouldn't get angry so quickly. Yi Hua said faintly, "Ignorant. You sure know how to act well. If I didn't know better, I would have thought that you are a demon king." Qin pouted her mouth and said with a look of disdain. Yi Hua turned his head around and looked towards Qin, then said evilly, "You really guessed correctly. Move your face away, it's too big. The entire screen is blocked." Qin pushed Yi Hua, and the latter smiled and continued watching the movie. After watching the movie, Yi Hua suddenly wanted to meet this Slayer tyrant. At the very least, there was no problem with his IQ. It was a pity that all of his subordinates were extremely sick. Wei Chang and Lai Gu were still considered to be alright, but the other 5 had practically reached the twisted stage. However, there was nothing to say about their strength. I'm really curious what they're doing now, but I'm sure it's definitely not anything good. It's too good to watch. I'm really looking forward to Avengers 4. From the looks of it, Qin Yutong was still a Marvel fan. Her expectant eyes were really unbearable. Yi Hua and Qin didn't express their opinions and walked on their own. I thought that they were passers-by A and passers-by B. This caused Yi Hua to be very displeased, and he questioned, "Why are you moving so far away from me?" "I like it. It's none of your business." Qin was doing this on purpose. Gradually, she discovered that Yi Hua's desire to control himself was quite strong. As long as I continue to act in this direction, I will definitely be able to see Yi Hua getting angry. "So handsome, come over," Yi Hua shouted out gravely. Qin snorted, "If I come over just because you asked me to, it would be very embarrassing for me." A few black lines immediately appeared on Yi Hua's forehead. Just who is the one that made who lose face? Add one more word in front and maybe I'll consider it. A smart woman would always leave some leeway for a man. She would not add fuel to the fire. After all, both of them were building a relationship for the unborn child. Neither of them wanted the child to be born without a father or mother. As for the divorce, both of them were well aware of it. If you don't say it, I don't say it. When the time comes, they will not divorce, but who knows what the result will be. Hearing Qinya's words, Yi Hua laughed from anger. This woman is truly audacious. "Wifey, come here." Although he added 2 words, his tone was still arrogant. Qinya didn't take it to heart. "It's just that, I don't know exactly who will be the one to teach who well." After getting slightly closer to Yi Hua immediately felt his waist tighten. "This fellow is actually hugging onto me and taking advantage of me. Let go of me," Qinya shouted while blushing. Yi Hua firmly held onto Qinya's willow waist, to prevent this foolish woman from doing the things that he hated. Qin Yutong followed behind and pondered attentively. These 2 people, if I didn't guess wrongly, there must be something wrong with their brains, and only I can be considered as a normal person. "Brother-in-law, let's go and play video games," Qin Yutong shouted. Yi Hua took a look, childish. 5 minutes later, the 3 arrived at the shopping mall's arcade. Yi Hua generously took out his WeChat and paid the bill, and Qin Yutong gave him a thumbs up. "What he used was my money." Qinya suddenly added a sentence. Yi Hua was very unhappy. "Will you die if you don't speak? Will you die if you don't hug onto my waist?" Qinya immediately retorted back. Qin Yutong shook her head. These 2 retards. Arriving in front of the dance machine, Qin Yutong was already standing on it. That charming figure of hers immediately attracted the cheers of a group of perverts. "Let go of me," Qinya said coldly. "What are you doing?" "Nonsense, of course I'm going to play." Qingya revealed out a look of, "You are an idiot, don't you come to the arcade to play? I remember that when I was young I played dance machines together with my little sister, but because of one thing the two of us fell out." Yi Hua said faintly, "You are not allowed." I'm afraid that you will jump my child out." Yi Hua said gravely, "How can this woman be so stupid?" Qingya was also startled. Luckily Yi Hua reminded me, if I were to jump my child out of the dance machine, I would even have the heart to die. I almost forgot that I am still a pregnant woman. Seeing that Qingya did not resist, Yi Hua let go of his hand and took out a cigarette from his pocket. "Can you not smoke in front of me? It is not good for the child. If you want to smoke, go outside." Qingya said displeasedly, "How can a pregnant woman breathe in second-hand smoke?" Yi Hua paused for a moment, then stuffed the cigarette back into the box and said calmly, "All right." The two stood together and looked at Qing Yutong, who was jumping around on the dance machine. As expected of an actress, her dancing posture is indeed impressive, incomparably sexy. That flirtatious look of hers attracted a large group of perverts to scream. Qingya's expression was cold. Her little sister's current actions were completely slandering me. Who knows which reporter might see it and report it carelessly. Qing Yutong, who was drenched in sweat, still did not seem to be satisfied, and Qingya couldn't help but shout out, "Enough, it is time to go back." Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth. "I know that big sister is angry right now. It is not easy for me to indulge myself for once. Forget it, I will dress up as big sister again next time to come and play." "Hey beautiful lady, why are you not dancing anymore? Dance another song." A few youngsters could be seen walking out from the crowd with cigarettes in their mouths, with their heads held high and their chests puffed out, striding with their feet splayed outwards. This kind of attitude and pace was simply asking for a beating. There were still people discussing amongst the crowd. "I have a friend who also used this kind of walking posture in the past, and right now the grass on his grave is already 2 meters tall." "What a coincidence, I have a friend who also used this kind of walking posture. He stayed there until his wife remarried." This kind of walking posture is trending this year. It is commonly known as the mouth cannon walking posture. It is very cool. Yi Hua missed this kind of feeling very much so that a long time ago, there was a human genius level expert who walked arrogantly to exterminate me. Although his walking posture was cool, there was something wrong with his brain, and in the end he ended up in Wei Chang's stomach. Thinking back to the scene on that day, it was really funny. It was almost the same as now. "What are you laughing at?" Qingya asked curiously. Although Yi Hua always makes me angry when he smiles, he is really very good looking and very charming. I wonder who my child will look like when he is born. I will find out after 9 months. Yi Hua kept away his smile and said faintly, recalling the things in the past. Chapter 33. "Tell me about it." Qingya asked curiously. "If you change your bad habits, I'll tell you." "Who has more bad habits? Speak clearly to me." Qingya felt that her and Yi Hua were definitely not on good terms, and they would definitely quarrel after just a few sentences of conversation. Qing Yutong was also drunk. "There is a little scoundrel coming to take liberties with me, and you two actually only care about quarreling and don't care about the other party. What kind of sister was this? What kind of brother-in-law was this? Someone is bullying me." Qing Yutong couldn't help but interrupt. If not, they would definitely ignore her. Yi Hua silently took a look at her. "If I bully you, then fight back. Is there even a need for me to teach you something like this? Yeah, didn't you learn kung fu? Can't you handle a few punks?" Qingya said faintly. "When I was young, my younger sister was already a little tyrant. Don't be fooled by her gender. When she fights, she is even more ferocious than boys." Qing Yutong was angered to the point that she didn't know what to say. These two are simply a perfect match. When they coordinate with each other, they can infuriate people to death. Qing Yutong turned her head around and looked towards the 3 scoundrels, and Qing Yutong became angry. "It's fine if I am bullied by the 2 of them, but the 3 of you came as well. A bunch of trash. Do you really think this lady is a weak woman?" Qing Yutong's aura could be seen changing, and a faint killing intent could be seen emitting out from her entire body. As expected of a shadow empress, to be able to even imitate killing intent, Yi Hua had to give her a thumbs up. The hooligan's mind was a little confused and he hurriedly said, "Miss, calm down. Hold your sister." Qing Yutong exploded. Her small fists directly smashed onto the stomach of the delinquent, and the latter fell onto the ground like a cooked shrimp. Seeing this, the 2 lackeys behind him didn't know what to do. It was clearly the boss who went to tease others. How did he get hit by the girl? This didn't make sense. Qing Yutong did not have the intention to stop, and only after kicking the other 2 people to the ground did she stop. The surrounding people couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. This seemingly delicate beauty was actually so ruthless. 3 men weren't her match, and from the looks of it, she didn't even use her full strength. Truly amazing. Yihua said, "Not bad. You became even more powerful." Qingye praised. Qing Yutong really wanted to give each of them a punch. It's easier said than done. Who's making trouble here? A 2-meter-tall burly man could be seen walking out from within the crowd. His arm was even thicker than Qingye's thigh, and when he stood up, he was like a small mountain. With a ferocious look on his face, the people who were watching the show couldn't help but retreat a bit. Yihua let out a breath and walked out. The 2 sisters went into a daze for a moment. With those small arms and legs of yours, you shouldn't stick your head out, right? If you were to injure any part of your body, wouldn't you still have to take care of it yourself? However, Yihua was also thinking like this. If Qing Yutong's bones were to be fractured, I and Qingye would also be responsible for it. At that time, it would be troublesome for Qing Yutong to be hospitalized and so on. Thus, I might as well do it myself. Walking to the front of the man who was like a small hill, Yihua let out a breath. It has been 5 years since I last hit someone. This time, when I hit someone, I definitely have to control my strength well and not beat him to death. Brother-in-law, quickly come back, your arms aren't even as thick as other people's legs. Qing Yutong placed both of her hands at the side of her mouth and shouted, seemingly as if she was afraid that other people didn't know what was happening. Following Qing Yutong's shout, everyone knew that this man was the beautiful woman's brother-in-law, and the other woman was the wife. This man's luck with women is not shallow, but to meet such a huge figure, I feel that I am going to be hung up and beaten. Don't try to show off, quickly come back. Qingye couldn't help but shout out. Yihua's heart was bleeding. These 2 ignorant women actually looked down on me like this. Brat, your wife is asking you to go home and eat. Bang. Yihua placed both of his hands into his pockets. What are you looking at? Go home. The 2 sisters did not even see clearly what happened, and before the burly man could finish speaking, he was already sent flying out and smashed onto a machine. Fuck, what did that man do just now? Don't know, I only saw the burly man being sent flying out. Too formidable, his punches are actually so fast. Qing Yutong was dumbstruck. I didn't expect that her brother-in-law would also be an expert among the commoners. Qing Yutong hurriedly shouted, brother-in-law, wait for me, and this was also the first time that Qingye saw Yihua's martial strength, and she had a lingering fear in her heart. If that punch was on my body, then prepare to pinch my philtrum. In the office on the 2nd floor, the manager on duty witnessed the entire process and hurriedly made a phone call. Master, I discovered a strange man. He sent the mountain flying with a single punch. There was no exclamation of surprise from the phone, and the manager said indifferently, go and check it out then. All right, master. The 3 sat on the Audi A8, and Qing Yutong kept on asking various kinds of questions, causing Yihua to be very irritated. That punch just now was not bad, the strength was controlled very well, I only used 0.1% of my strength and it was able to achieve a deterrent effect and no one died. Comfortable. In the future, I will just use this kind of strength. Brother-in-law. How did you do it? Teach me. Qingye, who was driving, said, your brother-in-law likes to act cool, especially in front of beautiful women. Yihua glared at Qingye, then looked at Qing Yutong and said, I'm not free. Brother-in-law, Qing Yutong let out that charming voice. Qingye was in a bad mood just by listening to it. You are trying to seduce your brother-in-law. Speak properly. Qingye reprimanded coldly. Qing Yutong clicked her tongue, crazy wife who is protective of her husband. Qing Yutong angrily leaned on the side and sulked. The 2 of them teamed up to bully me. Looking at the supper stall outside, she said, I want to eat supper. You ate so much just now and you are still able to eat. Qingye, who was driving, was speechless. I want it, I want it, I want it. Qing Yutong actually acted shamelessly. This made Yihua doubt his own judgment. This is completely like a child that hasn't grown up. How is this a mature woman? Qingye is still much better. Qingye had no choice but to stop the car by the roadside, and the 3 of them sat at a barbecue stall by the roadside. In front of the barbecue stall, there was even a worn-out television that was playing the news. So comfortable, Qing Yutong said comfortably. The summer breeze by the riverside felt very comfortable, just like giving a face massage. Yihua remained silent. Compared to their beauty, Yihua preferred to watch the news report more. Brother-in-law, why are you staring at me like that? Big sister will misunderstand. Although it is said that half of a sister-in-law's but belongs to brother-in-law, but brother-in-law, aren't you being too open and above-board like this? Qing Yutong said bashfully. She acted very well and she even touched her own face shyly. Yihua said faintly, "Move aside a bit, block me from watching the news." Wuxia. Qingye couldn't help but laugh and Qin Yutong's face darkened. "Brother-in-law, this scoundrel." According to the news from our station, a fire broke out in a castle on the outskirts of London today, causing the castle to collapse. Fortunately, there were no casualties. Qin Yutong sighed. For such a big castle to collapse, there was actually no casualties. This is too mystical. Qingye turned her head around and took a look. I reckon that there was no one living there. Only Yihua knew why there were no casualties, because those people were all in Wei Chang's stomach. Chapter 34. Very soon all the grilled fish and grilled meat were served. Yihua crossed his arms over his chest and looked at the two women in front of him. "Yutong, as your brother-in-law, I have the obligation to teach you how to be a woman," Yihua said gravely with a serious look on his face. "Since she is my sister-in-law, I will be magnanimous and teach her a lesson." Qingye rolled her eyes. "This fellow is doing it again." "Brother-in-law, in that case, can you teach me?" Qin Yutong asked curiously. She was completely unaware that the content of what she was going to teach would cause people to collapse. Yihua felt that it was much easier to teach his sister-in-law. First of all, you have to obey a man's orders. Things like peeling skewers is something that you have to do. On this point you have to learn from your sister. Qingye indeed peeled a skewer of barbecued meat and placed it into Yihua's bowl, to prevent him from finding a reason to flip out again. Qin Yutong paused for a moment, then said earnestly, "Brother-in-law, can we talk properly? Come try it and you'll know. Your sister was very resistant at first, but now she's used to it." Qin Yutong pulled onto Qingye heavily. "Big sister, there is a problem with brother-in-law's way of thinking. He wants to groom me into becoming the second wife." Originally, Qingye thought that Yihua was joking, and after hearing what her little sister said, killing intent shot out from Qingye's beautiful eyes. "I am teaching her," Yihua said in displeasure. "What kind of expression is that, to actually dare to doubt me? But why should I explain? Don't put that weird theory of yours on my little sister's head. Eat your food," Qingye said coquettishly. "Forget about harming me, you even want to harm my own little sister." That's right. Brother-in-law is so bad he has the same thoughts as Long Out Yen. Sister, you have to be careful." Yihua felt that he had been stabbed with a knife. "I educated her out of goodwill, and not only did she not appreciate my kindness, she even tried to frame me and even compared me with that Long Out Yen." Yihua felt that his lungs were about to explode from anger. Looking at her brother-in-law's handsome face that was flushed red from anger, Qin Yutong peeled off a skewer of pork ribs, then said fawningly, "Brother-in-law, don't be angry, sister-in-law, I was just joking just now." Seeing that his sister-in-law's attitude of admitting her mistake wasn't bad, Yihua didn't pursue the matter further. "You have to learn properly." Yes, I will learn," Qin Yutong said helplessly. Brother-in-law is truly a weirdo. At this moment, another report was heard on the television. According to this station's news, there was a tsunami in Southeast Asia this afternoon. One person has died, 56 people are missing, and more than 300 people are injured. The tsunami this time was extremely sudden, and the local weather bureau said that they had no idea. The three of them paused for a moment, not paying too much attention. However, everyone didn't know that this was the result of Lai Gu's unintentional roar. Yihua slowly put down his chopsticks, straightened the chopsticks, then took out a napkin and wiped his mouth. His movements were smooth and skillful, causing the two sisters to be extremely puzzled. To be able to eat so elegantly even when eating barbecue, and to even straighten the chopsticks after finishing eating, does he have obsessive-compulsive disorder? "Let's leave after eating," Yihua said lightly. The two sisters were already full, and the three of them sat on the car and returned back to Leisure Bar. Meanwhile, the young man who was at the barbecue stall had not left yet. He took out his phone and tried to contact someone, but he was unable to get through. When he returned to Leisure Bar, it was already 11 o'clock. However, there wasn't a single soul in Leisure Bar. Yihua's face immediately collapsed. Qingye and Qin Yutong were feeling great, and they walked up the stairs while holding hands. Qingye even shouted out complacently, "Yihua, quickly come up the stairs, brother-in-law, hurry up," Qin Yutong blurted out and immediately caused Qingye's head to explode. To even dare to take liberties with brother-in-law. The security guards and waiters of the bar were all stupefied. The boss had really flown up to the sky. He actually had two beauties in his arms, and the key point was that they were twins. Too valiant. Too powerful. Just that, the price to pay is a bit big. A business like Leisure Bar is probably the prelude to bankruptcy. Yihua wasn't really angry, he just felt that Qingye was disobeying him like this. This can't do. I have to make her listen to me, and also that sister-in-law, I have to quickly chase her away. After mixing a small glass of wine and drinking it, Yihua slowly walked up the stairs. Just that, the bedroom was actually occupied by 2 women. How could Yihua endure it? This sister-in-law of his is too outrageous. Brother-in-law, I don't have a place to sleep. Seeing that Yihua was preparing to deliver the goods, Qing Yutong straightforwardly hugged onto her big sister and begged for mercy. Go and sleep in the office. Yihua said gravely. Qing Yutong said pitifully, don't want. Yihua looked towards Qingya, seemingly saying that if you don't persuade me, don't blame me for being ruthless. Qingya pouted her mouth and did not say anything. In any case, I will be happy if Yihua is angry, and I reckon that he will be happy if I am angry as well. I will go and take a bath. If you are still on my bed when I come out, then you can just wait for your big sister to send you a condom. Yihua said coldly. If you force me into a corner, I will get rid of you in front of your big sister. In front of the 2 beauties, Yihua showed off his figure a bit, then walked into the bathroom. Tieske, who are you trying to scare? Qing Yutong said in disdain. Just that, in her heart she was a bit afraid. Qingya leaned against the headboard of the bed and looked at the financial news, then said faintly, if you don't leave, your brother-in-law will really dare to. I don't believe it. At worst, big sister, you can go and help me buy a condom. Qing Yutong's mouth was very firm, and she had a fearless look on her face. Qingya turned her head and said, we don't wear condoms? Qing Yutong felt that she was going to go crazy. Ah, you 2 perverts, I am leaving. Qing Yutong, who was flustered and exasperated, directly slammed the door and ran to the office to sleep. These 2 people are simply rotten to the core. 5 minutes later, Yihua walked out of the bathroom while wiping his hair, revealing his sexy muscles. His muscles were not big, but it gave people a feeling that he was very explosive. Exhibitionist, Qingya took a glance and said in disdain. When is your little sister going to leave? Qingya laughed in ridicule. Didn't you say that you were going to get an extra bed? What, are you regretting it now? Yihua did not speak and crawled into the blanket, and Qingya pushed the blanket outwards, seeming to dislike Yihua a lot. There is a bed in the office, you can also go over there and sleep. Seeing Qingya's action, Yihua was very unhappy. I didn't even dislike you, and yet you still dislike me. I'm not going. Qingya snorted. Yihua could be seen immediately flipping over and pressing Qingya under his body, and the latter was scared to the point that her soul was about to leave her body. Do you still want to experience the happiness of that night? Yihua stared at that pair of beautiful eyes and asked carefully. Upon thinking back to that night, Qingya's gaze started drifting. What are you doing? Aren't you going to let me sleep? You have been staying on my bed all along, don't you want to experience it again? Go to hell, why are your thoughts so dirty? Right at this moment, the bedroom door was opened, and Qing Yutong looked at the 2 people on the bed with a face full of surprise. I just left, and they are already unable to endure their hunger and thirst. That. I am here to look for a blanket. Qing Yutong said while stammering, then immediately closed the door. Her little heart was thumping madly, so passionate. Yihua said gravely, she did it on purpose. Who asked you to call her over? Don't press on me, don't you know that you are very heavy? Qingya said angrily. Chapter 35. Who would be willing to hug you, narcissist? Qingya hugged onto the quilt tightly and turned her back towards Yihua. Remember to switch off your phone. It is already switched off. Remember to wake up early tomorrow to buy breakfast. Got it? Don't pant while sleeping. Yihua. Do you want to fight with me? Don't think that I am afraid of you. Switch off the light, sleep. Yihua said calmly. He had already laid down, closed his eyes and ignored Qingya, angering Qingya to the point that she wanted to strangle Yihua to death. After switching off the bedside lamp, Qingya let out a sigh of relief and caressed her stomach with both of her hands. My baby, in order to give birth to you, Mom really suffered a lot. Your dad doesn't even care about your mom at all. He doesn't even let me hug him once, and Mom is already used to hugging things to sleep at night, bastard. In Yangshan City, which was at the border of Long'an City, a BMW M6 sped on the suburban road. The driver was a young and beautiful woman. Her looks were excellent, her figure was also curvaceous, she was a rare beauty. Sitting beside her was Long Outyin, who used the burrow talisman. It must be said that this was a perfect encounter. Long Outyin has to thank those hoodlums, if not, he wouldn't have had such a romantic encounter. Furthermore, this Gu Tiantian's background is not small too. Yangshan City's famous Gu family, although not as perverted as Qing family, it is still the #1 enterprise in the south. To be a member of my Long Outyin's harem, she has reached the standard. Tiantian, you should believe me now, right? Long Outyin said complacently. Just a while ago, I went to Gu Tiantian's house and conveniently showed off. My medical skills shocked them to the point that they were dumbstruck, and that quack was chased out of Gu family. Seems like I am still very strong. What happened at Qing family today was just an accident. And the gaze that Gu Tiantian's parents looked at me with was as if they were looking at their future son-in-law. That feels great. A man with ability will be discovered no matter where he goes. I Long Outyin can only blame myself for being too outstanding. Don't look at Gu Tiantian's aloof appearance. In actuality, her heart had already secretly agreed long ago. Right now, she was just maintaining a woman's modesty. In just a few days, I will be able to take her down and make her a member of my harem. Tian, I'm fine, right? Long Outyin chuckled. He looked like a gentleman, but in truth he was full of evil tricks. Gu Tian scoffed. Don't think that I'll let bygones be bygones just because you cured my dad. I appeared by accident. Do you want me to take a look for you? Shameless, Gu Tian cursed in embarrassment. Look, and you still say you're not moved? Your little face is already red. Ah, women. Qingya, you will definitely regret it. You're not the only woman in this world, there's a whole forest waiting for me. Long Outyin. Tian, Uncle just said that we should have a good conversation. You see, I don't have anywhere to go. Your house is so big, can you give me a room? Gu Tian said coquettishly. Long Outyin. Can you not be so shameless? You made my dad think that we have a relationship. There is indeed a relationship. I've already seen you. If we were in ancient times, I would marry no one but you. Ah, I'm going to kill you, ha ha ha. Long Outyin was feeling great in his heart. This is the tempo. Who knows, I might be able to settle it tonight. TSK, outstanding men are always like this. Chasing a girl is just a matter of hooking my finger. However, just as Long Outyin was feeling complacent, his entire body suddenly leaned forward. The sound of tires rubbing against the ground rang out beside his ears. Luckily I had fastened my seatbelt, if not my entire body would have flown out. Rubbing his forehead, Long Outyin asked, Tianan, why did you brake so anxiously? I know that you hate me, but isn't this a little too exaggerated? Panic appeared in Gu Tiantian's eyes. Pointing at the front of the car, she was speechless. Long Outyin looked towards the front of the car and saw a person appearing at the front of the car. The person's entire body was wrapped tightly with a black cloth, and there was a dagger at the person's waist. Tian, did your enemy come looking for you? Long Outyin asked curiously. He didn't put the person in his heart at all. Gu Tian shook her head. What enemy do I have? I didn't cause any trouble. That person might be your family's enemy, but that doesn't matter. Who asked me to be a good person? Not only did I treat your father's illness, I even helped your family to chase away your enemy. Tian, how are you going to thank me? How about you repay me with your body? Long Outyin giggled, appearing to be very relaxed. Seeing Long Outyin's indifferent expression, Gu Tian also relaxed and wasn't that scared anymore. Can you be a bit more serious? Gu Tian pouted. This man is indeed very mystical, but his words are too flowery. I feel that he isn't reliable. Long Outyin fiddled with his hair. The me right now is definitely serious. Watch how I help you chase away your enemy. You be a bit more careful. Gu Tian warned. With the concern of a beauty, no matter how difficult the matter is, I, Long Outyin, will still not turn back just to make you smile. Annoying, what time is it already and you are still saying that? Gu Tian was also speechless, but her heart was still warm. Death Assassin stared at the man in the car. I finally found him. Master said that this man is a bit powerful, but why didn't I notice it? Right now he is still flirting with a woman in the car. Bang. Death Assassin punched onto the hood of the car and hooked his finger at Long Outyin. The loud sound gave Gu Tian a fright. Looking at the dented hood of the car, Gu Tiantian's entire body trembled as she said while shivering, "This person is here to look for you, quickly get out of the car." Long Outyin was immediately confused. To think that the person is here to look for me. The power of this punch is not bad, but it is still trash. Just like that quack, the person is here to act cool for me, and then at night I will be able to hug the beauty. This feels great. A godsend opportunity. Tian, don't be afraid, properly stay in the car, I am here for everything. Long Outyin kept his smile and said solemnly. The degree of firmness in his tone made Gu Tian believe him, and right now she is completely relying on Long Outyin. Opening the car door, Long Outyin took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. Although I learned this move from someone else, but it feels very good, it feels very cool. Gu Tian, who is inside the car, definitely has stars in her eyes. She must be worshipping me. Who are you? Long Outyin spat out a mouthful of smoke and asked arrogantly. Death Assassin only has thoughts, how can he speak? Death Assassin just stood there and did not speak. Fuck, you are still a mute, forget it? Bullying you is also not a difficult thing. It is better not to let the ladies see such a bloody scene. Let's stand slightly further away. Long Outyin flicked away the cigarette, but that was in his hand. This action is really handsome. Death Assassin silently followed behind Long Outyin, appearing to be a bit adorable. Long Outyin also had the same feeling, this fellow can't be a fool, right? Chapter 36. Hey, you're a killer, right? Tell me you don't use sneak attacks but stand in the middle of the road openly. Are you stupid? Death Assassin was a bit impatient. This was the first time he met an enemy that had so many mouths. From the moment he met Death Assassin until now, his mouth had never stopped. Who sent you? Forget it, you won't tell me now anyway. When I beat you until you kneel down, you will naturally tell me. Today I will let you experience the power of my Long Outyin God Dragon technique. There is no harm in telling you, when I hit this punch, even I myself am afraid, believe it or not, the reinforced concrete will break into slag. Long Outyin could be seen shouting loudly, his aura was extremely imposing. He stood in a horse stance, clenched his fists tightly, the muscles on his arms gradually became bigger, the mound under his feet even started to crack a little. Gu Tian, who was sitting in the car, was elated. Judging from Long Outyin's aura, he would definitely be able to defeat the man in black. Death Assassin looked at the trash in front of him and slightly went into a daze. This aura is a bit interesting. Compared to ordinary people, this person is indeed a lot stronger. However, it is only a lot stronger. In my eyes, this person is still a trash. The first form of the Divine Dragon technique. Divine Dragon Fist. Long Outyin's right fist exuded a faint golden glow, and he punched forward at lightning speed. A sandstorm was stirred up within a 1-meter radius, and Gu Tian was dumbfounded. Long Outyin sneered in his heart. This adorable killer is so scared that he doesn't even know how to hide. That's even better. Watch me smash your body with one punch. Death Assassin was very disappointed and did not want to move anymore. If he were to move even a little bit, he would be humiliating himself. Long Outyin took a step forward with his right foot, and a few cracks appeared on the ground. Then he punched out with an imposing manner. Long Outyin's fist passed through the Death Assassin's body and pierced through the Death Assassin's heart. Long Outyin said in disdain, "You are only SSO, and here I thought you were very powerful." GGG. This strange laughter made Long Outyin swallow his saliva unconsciously. Feeling his arm, it seemed that he had punched the air, but that's not right, I clearly punched through his abdomen. Fall. Why aren't you falling? Shouldn't you be falling? I'm begging you, can't you do it quickly? There's a girl watching. The Death Assassin did not have a physical body, it only had a body of bones, and Long Outyin's fist only went through the Death Assassin's clothes, it did not even touch the Death Assassin's bones. Death Assassin could be seen raising his hand, startling Long Outyin. Is he going to surrender? It's too late now. Besides, you have to raise your hands when you surrender. But Long Outyin felt his face contorting. His body floated in the air and his consciousness was a little blurry. Death Assassin's slap sent Long Outyin flying, and he only stopped after rolling a few times on the grassland. Long Outyin crawled up with difficulty, and looked at Death Assassin who was approaching him step by step. His gaze revealed fear. Who exactly was this person? Although the Divine Dragon Fist had only been trained to the first layer, it was still able to shatter rocks and break bones. Yet nothing happened to him. Instead he was sent flying by a slap. Could it be that this person was an S-rank expert? But why does he have to come and kill a small character like me? I haven't even grown up yet. That's right. He was afraid that he would grow stronger, so he struck first to gain the upper hand. This person was so vicious. Long Outyin spat out a mouthful of blood and felt his blood boiling. He was even more afraid of this man in black. In front of him he was just like a child. Swish. Long Outyin still didn't know what was going on, and a sharp pain came from his arm. Blood violently gushed out, and when he lowered his head to take a look, the wound was so deep that his bones could be seen. Fear spread in Long Outyin's heart. I am completely not a match for him, I can't even catch his movements, let alone counterattack. Gu Tian sat in the car and watched nervously. She could only see two black figures together, and she didn't know what was going on. Long Outyin's goal was achieved, he did not let Gu Tian see the scene of blood splattering everywhere, and was also able to show off his strength. Just that, everything had changed just like what happened at Qing family today, it was happening once again. There's no other way. I still have an Earth Escape talisman, if I don't use it now, I will really be waiting for death. Earth escape talisman. Death assassin slashed out with his blade, just that, he missed. Looking at where he was, where did he go? Could it be that he has the ability to teleport? I was really a bit careless. I originally wanted to torture him to death, but from the looks of it now, it would be better for me to report this to my superiors. Gu Tiantian rubbed her eyes. There were two black figures just now. Why did they suddenly disappear? Mustering up her courage, she got off the car and shouted lightly, "Long Out Yin? Long Out Yin?" Arriving at the place where the two disappeared from just now, Gu Tiantian looked around and was filled with doubt. She could only leave in disappointment. This Long Out Yin ran away. Luckily this assassin did not come to look for me. He is really not a man. Long Out Yin shouted out that he was wronged. I only temporarily retreated due to injuries. At a remote mountain village, Long Out Yin opened his eyes, and a high-spirited voice rang out beside his ears. Exerting himself to open his eyes to take a look, he immediately had the urge to faint. Why isn't it the bathroom? Why is it the pigsty? My God, why am I so unlucky? Who are you? A beautiful young lady could be seen standing outside of the pigsty and asked curiously. Long Out Yin laughed bitterly. I didn't expect that my luck with women still did not change, meeting with beautiful women unceasingly. The rhythm is still in my hands. Wait till I finish cultivating the Dragon God technique, then I will kill my way back. During this period of time, I will properly develop my relationship with this young lady. Let me faint for a while first, let the young lady take care of me for a while. Early morning, Yihua slowly opened his eyes, his brows immediately wrinkled, and a moist feeling came from his chest. Lowering his head to take a look, this woman is actually wrapped around me like an octopus. This is simply too outrageous. She doesn't even have any manners when sleeping. And this pool of saliva in front of his chest, this is really annoying. Wake up. Don't mess around, today is Sunday, let me sleep for a while. Qin Ye's tone right now carried a hint of acting coquettishly. It was especially comfortable to listen to, at least it was better to listen to than cold words. Yihua did not fall for this. Look at what you have done. Qin Ye wrinkled her brows impatiently, opened her beautiful eyes to take a look, and discovered that she hugged onto him again, and even left a pool of saliva on his chest. This is too embarrassing, so she braced herself and said, "What is it? What's wrong with me hugging onto my husband to sleep?" Yihua had never seen a woman who could speak nonsense with a straight face, dripping a pool of saliva on his chest, and still acting so righteously. It is already 7 a.m., quickly get up and go buy breakfast. Yihua's tone became a bit more relaxed, not lowering himself to her level. Qin Ye basically did not have the intention to get up. I am pregnant, you have to take care of me. That is not what you said last night. Women are fickle, you should properly experience it. Qin Ye hugged onto the blanket and rolled it to the side, acting shamelessly, angering Yihua to the point that his lips were trembling. Why did I end up with such a woman? After getting up and washing up, when he was done, he saw that he was actually still lying on the bed like a corpse. I have no choice but to teach her. Chapter 37. After placing Qin Ye in the bathroom, Yihua said coldly, "Brush your teeth, wash your face, and buy breakfast." The latter's pair of beautiful eyes were about to spit out fire. "Yihua, I will fight you to the death." 10 minutes later, Yihua walked out of the bathroom with Qin Ye, who had a miserable look on her face. Add more sugar to the porridge. Qin Ye snorted and walked towards the office. It seems like she wants to drag Yihua down with her. As expected, Qin Yutong's scream and helpless complaints could be heard from inside the office. "Big sister, I am still young and you actually want me to accompany you to buy breakfast? Do you want to be surrounded by my fans?" Qin Yutong walked out of the bathroom while yawning. Her pair of eyes had not even opened yet, looking very cute. "If you don't want to go, then stay in a hotel. Are you really my big sister or not?" "No. I give up, I will go, all right." Looking at the two women walking out of the bathroom, Yihua could finally have some peace. In the past, his mornings were always peaceful, but ever since this woman barged into his life, everything changed. His life could no longer be peaceful. Smoking a cigarette, Yihua sat at the bar counter and waited for breakfast. Actually, it is not bad to have a woman, at least I don't have to do many small things myself. However, she lacks discipline, she doesn't look like a wife at all. A black whirlpool could be seen appearing out of nowhere, and Wei Chang walked out from it and said respectfully, "Your Honor, Long Out Yin ran away." Yihua paused, then said gravely, "Long Out Yin was able to escape from your hands?" "Not really, this Long Out Yin seems to have the ability to teleport, that's why he was able to escape." Wei Chang explained. This was what he heard from Death Mage, and Death Mage heard it from his underling Death Assassin. Yi Hua did not speak. His index finger rhythmically tapped on the table, stared at Wei Chang and said after a while, "What do you think we should do about this matter?" Wei Chang's heart sunk. This is his honor's test for me. If my answer is not to his honor's satisfaction, his honor will definitely give me a good scolding. Wei Chang's brain was like a 12-cylinder engine that started operating. What his honor pays attention to is human nature, and he definitely doesn't pay attention to killing people. Your honor, this person's ability is still considered to be a minority, but to this planet, this is still the first time that we have encountered someone like this. I feel that we can monitor him and see if he has any accomplices, and also, where did he get his ability from? Wei Chang said with a nervous heart. He felt that this way of speaking was very difficult. Wei Chang's performance made Yi Hua have a whole new level of respect for Wei Chang. In the past, Wei Chang was just a simple-minded person. No matter what Yi Hua asked him to do, he would be very efficient. Even if he could obviously make use of something, he would still be very efficient. But now he knows how to use his brain. That's right. I'm glad that you have such thoughts. As long as your honor is happy, it would be subordinate's unparalleled glory. Not sure when did Wei Chang also learn how to bootlick. Most probably it was all because he watched TV dramas. I'll leave this long out yen to you. I hope you can give me a satisfactory answer. I will not let your honor down. Wei Chang shouted out gravely, then stood up and stepped into the black whirlpool, disappearing from Yi Hua's sight. A trace of an arc appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. I am even able to train Wei Chang well. I don't believe that I am unable to handle a woman. Looking at the clock on the wall, it has already been half an hour, and Wei Chang still hasn't returned yet. Yi Hua took out a stick of cigarette, then squinted his eyes and looked towards the door. 8 o'clock am. 9 o'clock am. 10 o'clock am. 11 o'clock am. 12 o'clock am. The floor of the bar counter was already filled with cigarette butts, and there were even a few empty wine bottles on the bar table. Meanwhile, Yi Hua's expression was gloomy, seemingly as if he was going to spew out fire. This woman is really too arrogant. Doesn't she know that I am still waiting for breakfast? I can even eat Chinese food now. Outside of the bar, Qingya and Qing Yutong, who was fully armed, got off the car and took their bags. After the two of them finished eating breakfast, they passed by a shopping mall and accidentally strolled a little too much. The porridge had already turned cold and the thick fried dough sticks had also turned soft. Big sister, even when I was standing outside, I could feel brother-in-law's resentment drifting out. Qing Yutong, who was wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, said in a low voice. To be honest, right now I am a bit afraid. Qingya snorted coldly. That fool wouldn't really be waiting for breakfast, right? However, with my understanding of him, that is definitely the case. Furthermore, the moment I enter the restaurant, I will be able to see the look of him flipping out. Forget it, it's my fault today. At most, I'll just let him win this round. Qing Yutong pulled onto her big sister. It is still better for us to run. Let's wait for brother-in-law to calm down first. That's not calming down. That's adding fuel to the fire. Right now, Qingya was already able to clearly understand Yi Hua's temper. The more she resisted, the angrier Yi Hua would get. As long as I follow Yi Hua's heart, everything would be fine. Then what should we do? You still dare to say that? Wasn't it because you wanted to buy a few pieces of underwear, causing you to go shopping all over the mall? If not, such a thing wouldn't have happened. Qingya felt that her younger sister did it on purpose. Qing Yutong said with grievance, Big sister, the steering wheel is in your hands, it is not like I am able to control it. Moreover, didn't you also buy a big pile of it? You. All right. I'll plead for brother-in-law later and strive for leniency. Qing Yutong, you sold me out just like that. Yi Hua, who was sitting inside, was able to hear the two of them playing around, and his anger became bigger and bigger. When he saw the two of them walking over with big and small bags, he almost went berserk. They actually went shopping. I completely forgot about myself. When the two sisters just entered the bar, they were still quarreling. However, when they saw Yi Hua, who was inside the bar counter, their hearts sunk, and they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Adding with the dusky atmosphere of the bar, it was simply frightening. Where did they go? Yi Hua asked coldly. One is my wife, and the other is my sister-in-law. Do I really have to kill them? The human nature in my heart was against it, but it was precisely because of this that Yi Hua was extremely angry. How many years has it been? Other than her, no one would dare to make me wait for so long. Qingya and Qing Yutong took a look at each other. Right now, the two sisters have to work together to be able to get through this difficult time. Brother-in-law, it's like this. In order to let brother-in-law eat the best fried dough sticks and congee in the city, big sister specially drove to the east of the city. Qin Yutong didn't act recklessly anymore. She felt that her brother-in-law was really angry. Yi Hua's cold gaze shifted towards Qin Ye, and the latter's heart was startled. She slightly lowered her head and said, Actually, what the heck is going there, but I have no choice, I am in the wrong and I can't stand on my own 2 feet. Seeing that Qin Ye admitted to it, Yi Hua felt a bit better in his heart. However, when he saw the 2 of them carrying big and small bags, he became angry. Even if we go to the east of the city and go back, it will only take us 40 minutes. The 2 of you left the house at 7:30 a.m., look at what time it is now, it is already 12:30 a.m. Don't talk about traffic jam long, and city is not like a first-tier city. Brother-in-law, before Qin Yutong could finish speaking, Yi Hua interrupted her, let your big sister speak. Oh, Qin Yutong pouted her mouth. Big sister, you better pray for your own good luck. Chapter 38. Yutong did not bring along a change of underwear, so we got off the car and went to the mall. Qin Ye changed from her previous overbearing attitude and spoke with an explanatory tone, which made Yi Hua feel very comfortable. Qin Yutong, who was at the side, was stupefied. Big sister instantly sold me out. I bought it back then and it was you who wanted to keep it. You are obviously trying to anger brother-in-law. And then? Although my anger has dissipated, I still have to teach her a lesson. Qin Ye's pretty face was a bit red as she stammered, and then Yutong still wanted to buy a few pajamas. Qin Yutong's face immediately turned bad. This is obviously framing me. No, I must definitely expose big sister's true colors. But big sister was actually secretly pulling my clothes. This made Qin Yutong a bit surprised. I didn't think that big sister would actually pay so much attention to brother-in-law's feelings, but I am unjustly implicated. Yutong? Yi Hua asked gravely. Qin Yutong swore that next time she will definitely not go shopping with big sister. Brother-in-law, it is all Yutong's fault, don't blame big sister. Bang. Yi Hua heavily slammed onto the bar counter, scaring the 2 sisters into shrinking back. Why didn't you pick up the phone? Qin Ye, don't you know that you are pregnant? Losing contact for a few hours, don't you know that I was very worried? Qin Yutong, you don't have to take the blame for your big sister. Do you think I don't know what she is thinking? After venting out his anger, Yi Hua let out a sigh of relief. Am I worried about the child or worried about Qin Ye? Even I am not sure, but what I am sure of is, one of the human emotions actually appeared in me again, worry. Yi Hua did not know if it was a good thing or a bad thing because it had never happened before. Qin Yutong really wanted to praise brother-in-law for being wise, to be able to see through big sister's scheme in an instant. And Qin Ye was very surprised. This fellow actually said that he was worried about me. Is he for real? But looking at his expression, it seems that he is worried about me, and I am still very happy in my heart. I suddenly feel that Yi Hua is rather cute, especially this angry expression. He looks just like a child. We did not bring our phone with us because we did not expect that it would take so long. Qin Ye explained. Then don't you know how to borrow or buy one? You don't even have this bit of common sense. Where did your brains go? The 2 sisters lowered their heads in silence. If they had known this would happen, they would have come back to deliver breakfast before going shopping. Brother-in-law, big sister also bought something for you. Qin Yutong suddenly thought of something and said hurriedly. Yi Hua went into a daze and looked towards Qin Ye. Qin Ye walked forward and handed over a small bag, then retreated a few steps back and stood together with her little sister. This kind of action is really too comical. This should be how elementary school students who make mistakes, right? Taking out the things inside the bag, what Yi Hua saw were 2 pairs of men's underwear. At this moment, Yi Hua felt that his heart was beating a bit abnormally. The frequency of his heartbeat was a bit fast and it was also very hot. I can't be about to go berserk, right? Without turning his head back, Yi Hua went upstairs to check on the condition of his body. The 2 sisters heaved a sigh of relief at the same time. They had passed the test. One who survived a great disaster was bound to have good fortune later on. Sis, you owe me. Alright, I owe you. This morning not only did I get taught a lesson by Yi Hua, I even had to let my little sister take the blame for me. If it wasn't for the fact that I prepared a pair of men's underwear, I reckon that I wouldn't have let it go so quickly. However, big sister, brother-in-law seems to care about you a lot. Qin Yutong threw the big and small bags onto the ground, then sat on the high chair. Qin Ye snorted. He will care about me? He cares about the child in my tummy. Big sister, you can't say it like that because in the end there are a lot of scenes where the child ends up together. I have also accepted such a script before, and at that time it was rather popular. Furthermore, with you being like this today and also brother-in-law being like this, TSK. Are your feelings for each other coming to fruition? Go to hell. Chinya said with a straight face. Her heart was thumping a bit. Looking at the fried dough sticks and congee that had become cold, Chinya walked upstairs. Qin Yutong pouted her mouth, still being stubborn. Yi Hua sat beside the office table. Just now, I did a full body checkup and there is no problem. This is really strange. This Chinya is actually able to control my emotions. How is this possible? Bang bang bang. A series of knocking sounds rang out and Yi Hua responded. Chinya could be seen walking in while holding onto the warmed-up congee, just that, the fried dough sticks were unable to maintain their crispy texture. I added sugar. Chinya placed the steaming hot congee and the cold fried dough sticks on the office table. Yi Hua looked at the congee blankly, feeling that it was very abnormal. This doesn't seem to be Chinya's style. Seeing that Yi Hua did not eat, Chinya steeled her heart and picked up the congee, lightly blew on it, then placed it beside Yi Hua's mouth. Here, open your mouth. The corner of Yi Hua's mouth twitched a bit. I am a man, it is not to the extent where I have to feed someone. I have hands, Yi Hua said unhappily. Chinya also became angry. I already gave in so much, and you still don't appreciate my kindness. Do you really think that I am afraid of you? It's more or less done. I have already been scolded by you for so long. Chinya's expression once again returned to how it was in the past. This caused the feelings that had just warmed up to immediately extinguish. Don't tell me that you don't deserve to be scolded. I want you to buy breakfast for a few hours. Do you want to eat or not? Chinya said angrily, then slammed the door and left. Yi Hua picked up the congee and wanted to throw it out, but this action of his stopped. After a while he drank a mouthful. It was very sweet. Forget it, it is good that she has this intention. I have to take it slowly. Opening the door and walking out of the office, Yi Hua just happened to see Chinya preparing to go out. Dressed in a black suit, her beautiful hair was tied up behind her head. Her entire temperament seemed very capable, just like a high and mighty queen. Where are you going? Yi Hua asked. Chinya snorted, going to the company. Today is Sunday. What are you going to the company for? Of course to earn money. If I don't earn money, are you going to support me? Chinya rolled her eyes at Yi Hua. Clearly her anger had yet to dissipate. Yi Hua shouted out gravely, you are not allowed to go. It is one thing for you to bully me. Are you going to care where I go? Chinya retorted angrily, this man is simply overbearing to the limit. For the next 9 months you can only stay by my side. I won't. Towards this kind of unreasonable troublemaker, Yi Hua only had one way, and that was to force her. Yi Hua grabbed onto Chinya's wrist and pulled her into his embrace. Save me. Yutong, quickly come out and save your big sister. Help me, call 110. Chinya knew that she was not Yi Hua's opponent and hurriedly asked for help from her little sister. Qin Yutong, who was currently tidying up the storage room, opened the door and stuck her head out. Big sister, brother-in-law, when you two fight, don't bring sister-in-law along, all right? Seeing that her little sister was not going to help, Chinya said angrily, Qin Yutong, consider yourself ruthless. Yi Hua laughed lightly, all right, just now my attitude was bad. Right now it is already noon. Even if you don't want to eat, our child still has to eat. Upon hearing that Yi Hua had admitted defeat, Chinya stopped struggling. You even brought out the child. Is this all you have? Yutong, let's go out and eat together. All right, brother-in-law. Chapter 39. The speed at which you two quarrel is not proportional to the speed at which you two reconcile. Qin Yutong didn't forget to tease Chinya a little. This is the pair that quarreled fiercely and reconciled the fastest. Look at them now, they are even hugging each other. Yi Hua said faintly, your sister only has this bit of ability. Yi Hua, if you want to quarrel, just say it, I will accompany you to the end. You are pregnant, your emotions need to be stable, if not it will not be good for the child. Yi Hua reminded. Recently he had been reading books on this topic. You still know that pregnant women cannot get excited. Chinya glared at Yi Hua. Yi Hua said faintly, as long as you are obedient, we can still be together. Who cares? Brother-in-law, big sister, can the two of you not hug each other when you are quarreling? This way there won't be the feeling of quarreling. Qin Yutong couldn't take it anymore. How is this quarreling? This is completely like showing off your love. Shut up. Shut up. Qin Yutong let out a deep sigh. You two can only bully a little girl like me who has no temper. Allow me to go and change my clothes. 10 minutes later, Qin Yutong changed back into Chinya, and she even changed into a sexy outfit, a tight black one-piece dress, and then there was no then. Brother-in-law, how is it? Isn't it sexy? Qin Yutong stood in front of Yi Hua and spun around. Qin Ye snorted. She really wanted to kick Qin Yutong out, but thinking about how her little sister helped her in the morning, she decided to let her off this time. Yi Hua's gaze revealed out praise. This is more like it, getting to sleep on my bed. Not bad, much better than before. Qin Yutong said craftily, so brother-in-law likes this kind of stuff. Big sister heard that. Bah. Qin Ye raised her hand and slapped Qin Ye. Qin Ye touched her butt and said with a face of grievance, brother-in-law, big sister hit my butt. Alright, let's go. Yi Hua said faintly. Qin Yutong stuck out her tongue towards her big sister and held onto Yi Hua's arm, causing Qin Ye to almost go berserk. The three of them did not drive out of the house. After walking out of the alley, they arrived at the roadside and Qin Ye finally couldn't take it anymore. Look at what you two are like. What's wrong? I didn't even touch brother-in-law's buttocks. This is the etiquette of holding hands. Qin Yutong quibbled. Qin Yutong wanted to see her big sister's appearance of caring, and at the same time showing that she didn't care. Yi Hua nodded his head. True. Brother-in-law is wise. Looking at the two of them echoing each other, Qin Ye was angered to the point that her hands were trembling. He is obviously my husband, yet he is being held by my younger sister. Ah. There are still empty seats here. Yi Hua reminded. Are you giving me charity? I'm not going to help you. Brother-in-law, everyone thinks that I'm your wife. Big sister is your sister-in-law. Qin Yutong laughed coquettishly and hugged onto Yi Hua's arm tightly. This kind of peculiar stimulation was something that only Yi Hua was able to feel. Being hugged by my sister-in-law in front of my wife, this feels great. Qin Ye couldn't take it anymore and held onto Yi Hua's hand with an expression that said, I am his wife. Yi Hua laughed lightly, then hugged onto Qin Ye's willow waist, and did not hug onto Qin Yutong. This made Qin Ye feel much more balanced, and Qin Ye was completely unaware that Yi Hua was taking advantage of her. Brother-in-law, let's go and eat fish. That shop looks pretty good. Qin Yutong pointed at the shop that was not far away from them, and the shop was called World Peace. The exterior of the shop was well decorated and looked very stylish. Yi Hua asked Qin Ye, do you want to eat fish? Anything. Eating fish is quite good for pregnant women. Yi Hua brought the two sisters and walked towards the shop. On the way, all the men wished that they could kill Yi Hua. Beauties are a rare species, let alone a pair of beautiful twins. They are definitely rare among rare, and I actually have two of them. One has a fierce aura, and the other is sexy and charming. Aren't these two goddesses that dropped down from the sky? Walking into World Peace Fish Shop, the business of this shop was indeed pretty good, and the decoration was also very romantic. At the entrance of the shop, ornamental fishes were displayed. Of course, not all of them were ornamental fishes, it was just that the price was expensive. Is there a private room? Qin Ye asked faintly. The waitress was still shocked by the appearance of this woman and didn't react for a moment. In actuality, all the men in the hall were looking towards this direction. There are beautiful twins, right? And all the women were looking at Yi Hua, and their saliva was about to drop into their bowls. Sorry, the private room is already full, there is only that table at the corner left. The waitress seemed to not be very confident, mainly because Qin Ye's aura was too strong. It seemed as if she was looking for someone to negotiate with. Looking towards that table at the corner, it really is at the corner. When had Yi Hua and Qin Ye ever sat at such a table before? The two of them came to a consensus at the same time, and that was to leave. However, Qin Yutong had already walked over. What else could Yi Hua and Qin Ye do? Could it be that they were going to leave Qin Yutong behind? Yutong, let's go to another place to eat. Qin Ye sat down and said faintly. Qin Yutong looked at the menu and said, what other place? It is good to sit at the corner, lest I get recognized by others. Moreover, this place is overcrowded, the fish would definitely not be bad. Look, it is so ridiculously expensive, it would definitely be delicious. Does your so-called delicious food mean that it is expensive? Qin Ye said with a black face. You get what you pay for. If it is not delicious, we will just make a fuss. Brother-in-law, what do you say? Qin Yutong seemed to want to make a fuss. Yi Hua didn't have the mood to make a fuss and said calmly, you all can do as you please. Wow, there is actually caviar chocolate pudding here. Big sister, quickly take a look. Qin Yutong seemed to be very excited, and Qin Ye also became interested. Taking over the menu and taking a look, this unremarkable shop actually has so many top-quality products. And the difficulty of making this top-quality caviar chocolate pudding was extremely high. Although the ingredients used were naturally top quality, the price was not something that ordinary people could afford to eat. Just this small piece cost 200k. Brother-in-law, look at this bluefin tuna, I haven't eaten it for a long time. There are also gooseneck barnacles, two-headed abalone, 66666, big sister, just who opened this shop? There are so many amazing things here. Qin Yutong could be considered to be an international celebrity. She had eaten a lot of delicacies, but right now, she was sighing in admiration. Take this bluefin tuna for example, 200 plus kg was worth around 4 million, and this gooseneck barnacle was known as the golden seafood. 1 kilogram was worth over 10,000. Actually, the most expensive one was the caviar chocolate pudding. The caviar used was Iran's over Mars caviar. It was extremely rare, filled with 24K gold. 1 kilogram was worth 200K. Brother-in-law, what are you staring blankly for? Order the dishes. Qin Yutong said. Yi Hua could be considered to have experienced what was called a rich person. After this meal, without at least a few million, this shop is very interesting. Are you sure you want to order such expensive food? Yi Hua asked, feeling a little heartache. One must know that normally Yi Hua would only order takeout, and at most he would impulsively spend a few hundred. This time he ordered over 1 million in one go, and he even had to eat a meal. His heart ached. Seems like Yi Hua had really changed in these 5 years. He became someone who knew how to save money. In the end, it was still a habit. The Yi Hua in the past did not need to worry about money. Only after coming here did he know that money indeed comes quickly, but it has to be legal. Chapter 40. Yi Hua, it can't be that you have never eaten it before, right? Qin Ye seized the opportunity to tease Yi Hua. Yi Hua had indeed never eaten such expensive food before, but that did not mean that he had never eaten higher-class food before. Qin Ye, have you eaten dragon meat before? Yi Hua asked faintly. Brother-in-law is starting to act cool again. I have to cover my eyes. While speaking, Qin Yutong really covered her eyes, looking sexy yet cute. Qin Ye was still very cooperative. Why are you covering your eyes? I'm afraid that I'll be blinded by brother-in-law's power. Yi Hua, when I have time, I will bring you two to eat dragon meat. Red infant flood dragon's meat is also not bad. Qin Ye, you are pregnant right now, you need to nourish yourself. Speaking up to here, Yi Hua had to ask Lai Gu to go and get some food for Qin Ye. It's all my fault for being careless. I forgot that Qin Ye needs nourishment and I have to prepare more food for her. Qin Yutong covered her face and said, Brother-in-law, if I don't act cool, I would still be your sister-in-law. This time around, Qin Ye didn't laugh at Yi Hua and said faintly, Ba, it would be great if you don't get angry. From the looks of it, she didn't believe Yi Hua's words at all. However, towards Yi Hua's concern, her heart still felt warm. Yi Hua laughed lightly and did not say anything. Of course they wouldn't understand. Right now, I will contact Lai Gu and ask him to make a trip over. If Lai Gu is still together with that celebrity, I will stew Lai Gu into soup and drink it at night. Upon receiving Yi Hua's message, Lai Gu immediately went to get the ingredients. Because, His Honor really knows how to stew dragon bones and he even wants me to drink the soup. This is simply savage and inhumane. Under the astonished gaze of the waiter, Qin Ye finished ordering the dishes and began waiting. Qin Ye discovered that the people who were eating in the hall didn't order such expensive dishes. Instead, they ordered king crab and Australian lobster. Qin Ye cried out in alarm. Yi Hua seemed to be preparing to look at the Australian lobster. Who knows, I might even have to peel the lobster later on, it's so big. Yi Hua, look at me. Qin Ye held onto Yi Hua's face and turned him around. F***ck sister, you don't have to do this. I'm still single. Why don't you give me half of your brother-in-law? Yi Hua nodded his head. Yutong's idea is not bad. The two of you are scoundrels. Qin Ye said indignantly. Yi Hua stretched out his hand and stroked onto Qin Ye's cheek. Don't worry, I won't order such a big lobster for you to peel. This fellow actually saw through it. Not only did he not say anything, he made a fool of himself. He was simply terrible. Little sisters, my surname is Zhang and my name is Tian Kai. I wonder if I can have the honor to invite you two to have lunch together. After all, no matter how good the seafood is, it will be tasteless without the company of a beautiful woman. A man wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses appeared in front of the three of them in a refined and courteous manner. He spoke eloquently. Not bad, However, you're trying to poach someone in front of the Supreme Sovereign. Isn't this like lighting a lamp in the toilet? You're looking for shit. Then continue to be boring. Yi Hua said coldly. Such a weak and small human doesn't even deserve to talk to me. However, I really couldn't help but want to slap this human flying away and disturb my peace. Zhang Tiankai rubbed his eyes and said seriously, Mister, do you know how rude you are? I'm inviting you to stay silent. Qin Ye and Qin Yutong immediately laughed, and when they looked at Yi Hua's expression, they felt like laughing. However, the two sisters did not point it out. This is too bad. This ignorant human actually told me to shut up. Who gave him the guts to do this? Where did he get his confidence from? Zhang Tiankai once again revealed out a gentleman's smile. Ladies, my table has top-notch king crab, Australian lobster, top-notch Hokkaido red-haired crab, top-notch foie gras, rare caviar, and, shut up! Yi Hua shouted out coldly, and a strange red light shone out from his pair of eyes. Zhang Tiankai seemed to have seen a terrifying skull quietly rising into the air and opening its pitch-black mouth, wanting to swallow him. Qin Ye and Qin Yutong didn't expect that Yi Hua would really get angry, because even they themselves got a fright. How could Yi Hua not get angry? A fly running in front of you buzzing non-stop, but it's a pity that I can't step on it to death. Because I am currently in the period of abstaining from killing, this kind of contradiction made Yi Hua very vexed. Therefore, normally Yi Hua wouldn't go out because he didn't want to meet with this kind of fool. Ruining 5 years of cultivation for a fool is not worth it at all. Zhang Tiankai came back to his senses. What happened to me just now to actually be scared by this man? I lost so much face. Mister, don't think that you can casually bully people just because you are handsome. This kind of behavior will be condemned. Qin Ye knew that Yi Hua was very angry, but she seemed to be holding it in for some reason and shouted out coldly, "Enough, it is not your turn to judge my husband." That's right, why don't you go back and eat your abalone and lobster? Qin Yutong naturally stood on Yi Hua's side and intimately leaned on Yi Hua's side. Yi Hua let out a sigh of relief, feeling that this can't go on. I have to think of a way to punish these humans who like to act cool. Slapping them to death with a single slap definitely won't work, then I will just make them jealous of what I can't get. Yi Hua could be seen hugging onto the two sisters, and the two sisters cried out in surprise, their faces and ears flushed red, especially Qin Yutong. You can only look at them forever, you won't even be able to touch a single hair of theirs. You are even more unworthy to dine with them. Yi Hua felt that he had become better and more humane. Zhang Tiansai's eyes revealed out a look of jealousy as he snorted, "What can you give them, a man who can't even afford a king crab? Mister, please move aside. Don't bother me." Zhang Tiankai shouted angrily. "Mister, please move aside." This sentence was clearly a warning, causing Qin Ye's willowy brows to wrinkle. This restaurant is so awesome? Zhang Tiankai turned his head around angrily. "What are you doing?" The customer at this table ordered the bluefin tuna. Our chef will slice it into fish fillets right in front of the customers. Move aside. Looking at the 200+ kg bluefin tuna, Zhang Tiankai was dumbfounded. Not only Zhang Tiankai, the surrounding customers were also dumbfounded. I have never seen someone order such an expensive fish in the main hall before. Today, I have broadened my horizons. Zhang Tiankai quietly retreated. I actually stepped on an iron nail. Luckily I didn't bleed. This scared me to death. I should just go back and eat king crab. This kind of fish is too extravagant just by looking at it. Brother-in-law, you are taking advantage of me, Qin Yutong shouted out as if she was afraid that her big sister couldn't hear her. As expected, Qin Ye's face darkened, taking advantage of my sister-in-law in front of my wife. For the first time, Yi Hua was a bit embarrassed. Misunderstanding. Humph, who is misunderstanding? You are using us to show off how awesome you are, right? Qin Ye said, her tone was filled with jealousy. Qin Yutong was about to explode from laughing in her heart. Big sister even said that she doesn't like it, and yet the taste of jealousy is so strong. Yi Hua was helpless. I just don't want to casually kill people, that's all. Yi Hua said, I will treat you to a good meal tonight. Who cares? Qin Ye said, her tone had clearly eased up. Chapter 41. Every part of the bluefin tuna had its own price. Some parts were expensive while others were cheap. The belly of the bluefin tuna was rich in oil, tender and pink in color. It melted in one's mouth and tasted delicious. This was the most expensive part. The middle and back of the bluefin tuna had a moderate amount of oil. The taste of the meat was inferior and the color was lighter, so it was slightly cheaper. What the three of them mainly ate was the fish meat with big belly. Yi Hua also tasted the fish meat for a bit and felt that it was ordinary. It might be that I ate too many birds and beasts in the past, and right now I am only interested in crayfish. A few years ago, I even continuously ate instant noodles and spicy sticks for an entire month. It's delicious. Qin Yutong had an infatuated look on her face, and although Qin Ye did not show it on her face, the happy expression on her face was able to explain everything. Yi Hua placed down his chopsticks. The two of them have never eaten anything better than this. Tonight, I will let them experience what is called delicacies. Bang! A crisp sound suddenly rang out. The customers in the restaurant looked up and saw a girl standing there in a daze. There were also a few porters and the ground was covered with glass shards. There was also a bright red fish jumping around, and there was a broken dish beside it. The red fish jumped a few times and calmed down a lot. Its tail was raised and it seemed like it was about to die. There was blood in the water. It seemed like the fish was injured when it fell. Oh my god, that should be the blood-red dragon. This kind of arowana is really rare. I didn't expect the owner of this shop to buy one, but it looks like it's hopeless. That girl is really careless. This blood-red dragon is worth at least 5 million. It's clearly the porter's problem. How could you blame a girl? The blood-red dragon on the ground flapped its tail weakly. Its blood-red scales were like its own blood, and its slightly raised head could no longer display its domineering aura of a king. Yihua looked at the fish on the ground, and it was as if he was looking at himself. Back then, how glorious was I? Yet, I was crazily attacked by the humans, and in the end I could only wait for death to come. After coming back to life, I will think of ways to understand the humans, only then will I not repeat the same mistake. Yihua, that seems to be your employee, right? Qinya said. Yihua took a look, and it was indeed one of my employees. I didn't expect that she would work here during the day, and at my place during the night she would work at my place. She is truly a hard-working girl. Yihua responded indifferently. Don't you want to say something? Qinya said unhappily. In any case, Qinya is still my employee. How can she be standing there feeling wronged? As the boss, you should at least step forward and say a few words. Yihua said faintly, if one does something wrong, then there should be a corresponding punishment. Regardless of whether this matter is related to her or not, she is still implicated in this matter. If she were to step forward now, she wouldn't even know where she went wrong. Qinya pouted her mouth. I thought that Yihua would be so cold-blooded, so this is the case. No, this fellow was indirectly lecturing him. What brother-in-law said is right, only by recognizing our own mistakes, would we be able to be more careful next time. Qing Yutong was standing on brother-in-law's side. Yihua expressed that he was very gratified and patted onto Qing Yutong's head. The latter squinted her beautiful eyes, seeming to be enjoying it very much, causing Qinya to be angered to the point that she became speechless at the side. The relationship between this man and my little sister is really too intimate. I can't let this go on, if not, I will really have to go and send condoms to him. Sure enough, a man in a black suit rushed over and was dumbfounded when he saw the dying crimson dragon on the ground. This was a fish that the boss had specially sent over. If the boss knew about this, he would be finished. Who? The man's eyes revealed out an ominous glint, and a faint killing intent was emitting out from his body. Yihua felt it and was a little surprised. The few movers immediately pointed at the girl. Tang Wei. The man shouted out, and his pair of eyes were filled with murderous intent. That's right, this girl was Tang Wei. Right now she was dumbfounded and her mind was in a daze. Tang Wei, do you know how much this fish is worth? Right now, even if you have money, you won't be able to buy it, it is going to be extinct soon. Tang Wei seemed to be at a loss of what to do. She wanted to explain, but she was panicking to the point that she couldn't speak. At this moment, there was only one person that appeared in her mind, and she felt that only that person would be able to help her. Ignoring the manager's malicious gaze, Tang Wei took out her phone and sent a message. Just that, right after the message was sent out, the manager snatched the phone away and threw it onto the ground fiercely, then used his leather shoes that were made from alligator skin to step on the phone. My phone. Tang Wei choked with sobs. Although this phone only cost about 1,000 RMB, it was still bought with my hard-earned money. Holding onto a pile of phone parts, Tang Wei let out a sobbing sound. This kind of helplessness made one's heart ache. The manager wished that he could slap this brat to death and shouted out angrily, "What are you crying for? How can a lousy phone compare to my fish? Let me tell you, Tang Wei, prepare to work here for the rest of your life." Qinya couldn't bear to watch anymore and pulled onto Yihua, who was at the side. It's about time. If you aren't going, I am going. Yihua revealed out a light smile and stood up. What identity are you going to use? Are you the boss's wife? Go to hell. Qinya rolled her eyes at Yihua. This fellow is really hateful. However, there was a youngster whose movements were even faster than Yihua's. Boss, from the looks of it, this fish of yours isn't dead, right? A youngster who was wearing ordinary clothes walked out, causing Yihua, who was standing up, to sit back down. Student Qi. Tang Wei looked at the youngster who was walking over and cried out in surprise. Qi Shuwen squatted down and consoled, Student Tang Wei, are you all right? Tang Wei's eyes were red and swollen as she shook her head. Student Qi, quickly leave, this matter isn't related to you. Student Tang Wei, no matter what, we are still classmates. If I don't help you, who would help you? Qi Shuwen smiled slightly. This caused Tang Wei to be a bit absent-minded. In her impression, Qi Shuwen was a shy bookworm who rarely interacted with other students in class. But today, Qi Shuwen seemed to have changed into another person. He seemed to be very confident. The manager snorted coldly. You help? What are you going to use to help? Qi Shuwen stood up and said faintly, this fish of yours is completely fine, it just fainted, that's all. Bullshit, it's not even moving. If you have the ability, then slap it and wake it up. I will let bygones be bygones. The manager shouted in disdain. Qi Shuwen smiled but didn't say anything. With a mysterious confidence, he squatted down beside the blood-red dragon, and stretched out his hand to caress the fish's body. Qi Shuwen was shocked in his heart. As expected of an arowana that is worth 5 million, it actually still has dragon qi. After a while, under everyone's astonished gaze, Qi Shuwen threw the blood-red dragon into the fish tank at the side. The fish that had a face that was about to die just a moment ago could be seen swimming happily in the water. My God, that youngster really cured the fish. Wow, so mystical, it actually cured. Chapter 42. The manager was also dumbfounded. The fish was actually cured. Bullshit. Classmate Qi, thank you. Tang Wei wiped her beautiful eyes and expressed her gratitude to Qi Shuwen. Qi Shuwen revealed a polite smile. Tang Wei, classmate, please don't take it to heart, helping others is my motto. No matter what, I still have to thank you. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Since Tang Wei has made such a request, I won't refuse. Qi Shuwen smiled modestly. This commoner campus belle seemed to be interested in him. He didn't expect such a thing to happen just by having a meal. Qingya laughed involuntarily. Yihua, there is someone who is faster than you and is better at acting cool than you. Yihua remained silent. However, this young man was the second person that he had seen who was capable, and the first person that he had seen was Long Out Yen. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared at the entrance of the shop and pushed the door open with an oppressive aura. Lil Tang? Uncle Wei, that's right. Tang Wei's message for help was sent to Wei Chang. In Tang Wei's heart, Wei Chang was the man who cared about her. Right now, with a wronged expression, she threw herself into Wei Chang's embrace and cried bitterly. Qi Shuwen was stupefied. What is this situation? Who is this security uncle? Is he Tang Wei's uncle? It seemed like that was the case. His niece was being bullied, and as an uncle he had to come and help. Yihua, isn't that your security captain? Wow, brother-in-law, your little brother is so handsome, Uncle Appa, Qing Yutong said exaggeratedly. Yihua didn't expect that Wei Chang would suddenly appear, and the reason why he came was actually because of this girl. This caused Yihua to be very surprised. When did my subordinates become so conscientious? Wei Chang patted the girl in his arms to comfort her. Lil Tang, tell me who bullied you. Actually, Wei Changlai's reason was very simple. His little brother was being bullied, and as the big brother, he should step forward to teach the other party a lesson. This was what he had done in the past. Uncle Wei, it's fine now. Tang Wei blushed a little and broke away from Wei Chang's embrace. Why are you crying for no reason? Wei Chang was in a bad mood. When he saw the phone parts in Tang Wei's hand, his brows immediately wrinkled. Although Tang Wei came to Leisure Bar not long ago, Wei Chang knew that Tang Wei was very thrifty and would walk to work every day. What happened to the phone? Wei Chang asked. Tang Wei felt that she shouldn't trouble Uncle Wei, so she said, I accidentally broke it. I say, what's wrong with a broken security guard like you? Why are you standing up for a beauty? The manager was already very unhappy. When he saw a man in a security uniform shouting in his store, he instantly became angry again. Looking at this scene, Qingya was very worried. Yihua, quickly go over, it seems like they are going to fight. I'm fine. In this world, there are very few people who are able to defeat Wei Chang, and the number of people who are able to defeat Wei Chang can be counted with 2 hands. You. Qingya said angrily, then stood up and prepared to go and help Wei Chang. However, right after she stood up, she was pulled into Yihua's embrace. Just watch. Ayaya, I can't stand you two anymore showing off your affection in public. Qing Yutong covered her eyes and teased. With a red face, Qingya struggled a few times. This scoundrel, he still said that he wouldn't touch the same woman a second time? What nonsense, look at how many times he has already taken advantage of me. The main reason was still because of the child, causing the two of them who were from different worlds to be together miraculously. Without the child, Yihua wouldn't even care about Qingya, and Qingya wouldn't even turn around to look for Yihua. However, fate is always so mysterious. This was also the reason why Yihua didn't try to control it, because it would always bring him a surprise. Just that, right now he was a bit annoyed by this kind of surprise because this woman was slowly changing him. Just like that weak little human who dared to speak arrogantly to me just now. If it was a few months ago, he wouldn't even be able to see tomorrow's sun. Of course I wouldn't make a move on him, but right now I don't even want to care about him. Could it really be like what Wei Chang said, that this is human's love? Yihua wasn't very sure and needed to investigate further. It has only been a few days. I am a supreme overlord and she is just an ordinary human. Although she is considered to be outstanding among humans, she is still not qualified to be a match for me. It should be because of the child. It should be like this. Yihua, who was hugging onto Qinya, silently thought. Although he was thinking, his hands were still caressing onto Qinya's abdomen, causing Qinya's face to turn completely red. Qin Yutong couldn't stand it anymore. Even if the two of you want to look for trouble, can you go to the toilet? It's fine if this manager doesn't respect me, but what right does he have to insult Uncle Wei? Manager, what right do you have to insult people? So what if I am a security guard? At least I am stronger than you, who is dressed in a suit. Tang Wei changed from her weak attitude just now and actually argued with the fierce manager in front of her. The manager snorted in disdain. A lousy security guard and a poor woman, both of you scram, don't affect my business. At this moment the surrounding customers were a bit displeased. This was a very unique restaurant. After all, the food that was cooked was quite delicious, but right now they felt that this kind of good restaurant was ruined by this manager. Sigh, I won't be coming next time. I didn't expect that this kind of person would be able to become a manager and ruin the reputation of this restaurant. That's right, when he is insulting others, he is also insulting himself. Looking down on others. When the manager heard the discussions in the surrounding, he was angered to the point that his face turned red and he couldn't say anything. The anger in his stomach could only be vented on the two people in front of him. It is all because of them. Wei Chang, this man wanted to beat Tang Wei up. Xiao Tang, stand there and don't move. Uncle Wei. Tang Wei shouted out worriedly. She was worried that Uncle Wei would be beaten up by the manager. After all, this manager looked very strong, even his suit was bulging out from his muscles. The amount of human blood that Wei Chang's hands had been dyed with was already uncountable. Following Yihua to battle all over the world, Wei Chang had repeatedly set glorious records, and of course the record of eating humans was a record. There was once when Wei Chang devoured all of the humans in a million city, and the other members of the 7 deadly sins were all stupefied when they saw that. In terms of quantity, among the 7 deadly sins, Wei Chang was the most ruthless. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? Wei Chang was being stubborn again. Yihua shook his head. It's still the same as before. I broke your MP. The manager was unable to bear it any longer. He raised his fist and punched towards Wei Chang's forehead. Qi Shuwen, who was at the side, was prepared to help. After all, Wei Chang was Tang Wei's uncle. If I help him, it would also be considered as me helping Tang Wei. But before the fist even arrived, the manager's face was already slapped. The strength of this slap was just right. It won't send the manager's head flying, and it won't knock him down either. It will only make him feel humiliated. Yihua went into a daze. This move of Wei Chang's is not bad. The control of strength is just right, not bad. You dare to hit me? Do you know who I am? Pop. The other side of the manager received another slap, and his face was filled with disbelief. I was actually slapped by a security guard. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? None of your business. Pop. Chapter 43. Pa. Try hitting me again. Do you know who is my backer? Pa. My backer can poke you to death with just a finger. Pa. My backer. Pa. My backer. Pa. It was smashed by me. The manager was actually beaten to tears by Wei Chang. This is what it means to be arrogant. No matter how powerful your backer is, I will still slap your face. Other than Yihua, everyone else was stupefied. This security guard had simply refreshed their worldview. Although it was very satisfying, but he was still too impulsive. Now that he is satisfied, has he ever thought of the consequences? Qi Shuwen was also very surprised. This uncle of Tang Wei is not simple. The speed at which he hits people is extremely fast, almost catching up to my hand speed. Seems like he is a martial artist. And right now, Tang Wei's heart was intoxicated. Uncle Wei actually took the risk to help me vent my anger. I am really too touched. When the other party said that I have a powerful backer, Uncle Wei was still not afraid. This is what a real man is. Yihua, this employee of yours is too ruthless. Qin Yutong finished her big sister's words. Yihua said faintly, You all have never seen the more ruthless side of him. Right now, he is just messing around. Brother-in-law, can I trouble you to get rid of this bad habit of acting cool? Qin Yutong poked her brother-in-law and said while beaming. In actuality, I just like to see brother-in-law silently acting cool, it is too interesting. Qinya was currently still sitting in Yihua's embrace and said calmly, your brother-in-law also suffers from acting cool after smoking syndrome. Every time he finishes smoking, he would have to act cool for a bit. Brother-in-law actually has this kind of syndrome, can it be cured? Qinya pouted her mouth. From what I see, this is a terminal illness, there is no cure. A slap firmly smacked onto Qinya's perky butt and the latter was smacked silly. Qin Yutong cried out in surprise, big sister, seeing this scene, I suddenly recalled the scene when you were spanked by your father when you were young. Ha ha ha. Yihua suddenly laughed out loud. This kind of laughter seemed to have a demonic nature, causing everyone to look towards his direction. Qinya wished that she could seal her little sister's mouth, immediately left Yihua's embrace and sat at the side to calm down. This time Qin Yutong was really stupefied. What did I say just now to actually make my cold and aloof brother-in-law let out such a laugh, and big sister who was bashful and angry? What is going on? When Wei Chang saw Yihua who was laughing loudly, his heart sunk. I wonder if his honor is satisfied with my performance just now? No way. He had to show off a little more and show that he had brains. When Tang Wei saw the boss and the lady boss, I can't even tell which one is the lady boss. It can't be that both of them are the lady boss, right? However, this doesn't matter, having Uncle Wei is enough. The way I feel towards the boss is just like having a small fan. Xiaotang, how much is the phone? Wei Chang was very alert now, like a primary school student taking an exam. Tang Wei seemed to not want to cause trouble for Wei Chang and said, Uncle Wei, forget it, it's not worth much money. Wei Chang gave the manager another slap and the latter said aggrievedly, I didn't say anything just now. Your eyes are speaking. Wei Chang said coldly. I feel that what I did just now would be able to satisfy his honor. After all, I am able to discern people's thoughts from their body language. The manager really wanted to die, but he didn't have time to think and immediately closed his eyes. Now you don't have an excuse to beat me. The manager was in despair. Why? Wei Chang said gravely, you had body language just now. After finished speaking, the manager immediately sneaked a peek at his honor. Being able to understand other people's body language, I should be able to add some points, right? The manager swore that I definitely didn't move just now, this damn security guard was just finding an excuse to beat me up. Drops of tears slid down the firm face of the manager. The manager held onto his face and said while choking with sobs, I closed my eyes just now and I didn't move at all. Why did you? You were speaking in your heart. Wei Chang felt that he had passed the test, being able to understand other people's minds. Qinya and Qin Yutong were about to cramp up from laughing. This handsome uncle is too funny. You have already beaten others to the point of despair, and there is no other reason for you to beat others up. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. Wei Chang's performance today is not bad, being able to understand how humans think from all aspects can be counted as a small improvement. Xiaotang, how much is the phone? Wei Chang turned around and asked lightly. Tang Wei was currently in a drunken state. Uncle Wei was very cold when he was beating me up, but he was still so gentle towards me. Is Wei Chang's expression a gentle one? It doesn't seem like it, right? No matter what, in Tang Wei's eyes, Wei Chang looked like this. 1888. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chang nodded his head. Compensate me? Big brother, you should have said it earlier, isn't it just money? If you had said it earlier, I would have compensated you. How big of a matter is this? What's the matter? Why are you making such a ruckus? Don't you know that I am receiving a distinguished guest? A middle-aged man could be seen walking down slowly, and behind him was a young man and a young woman. The man was handsome, wore a custom-made white suit, and the watch on his wrist should be an Abbey Millennium Series watch. The watch was made of 18K rose gold, and it gave off a strong sense of heroism. The price of the watch was a terrifying 8 digits. The woman was incomparably beautiful, she had a devilish figure, her exquisite face was filled with the colors of an oriental woman, and her expression was indeed very gentle. The dress that she was wearing was very unique, and from the looks of it, it was also custom-made. On her spotlessly white wrist, there was also a rose gold watch, it should be a couple's watch. Seeing that his savior had arrived, the manager did not care about the risk and rushed in front of Jiao Yi, hugged onto Jiao Ye's leg, pointed at Wei Chang and said while kneeling, Jiao Yi, he hit me. Jiao Ye's face immediately darkened by half. This shop was opened in partnership with a very mysterious person. It's just that the other person was low profile and did not like to open a big shop. That was why he opened the shop on such a scale. If he was the one who opened the shop, it would definitely be a high-end shop. But his own man was actually beaten into a pig's head, and most importantly, he even ran to his parents like a child to complain. His face was completely lost. "You can scram now," Jiu Yi said in a deep voice. "This kind of person is completely useless. He doesn't even have the courage to fight back." The manager looked at Jiu Yi with teary eyes. "Why did it become like this? Is it wrong for me to be unable to win? Is it wrong for me to bring out my backer? Is it wrong for me to ask for help when I am unable to win? Why are all of you like this? I don't want to play anymore." "Jiu Yi, your man is very interesting," the young man at the back said with a slight smile. Jiu Yi sighed. "Young Master Xiao, Madam Xiao, I have let the two of you witness a joke." Nangong Sini smiled sweetly and did not say anything. Every single movement of hers revealed the demeanor of a big shot. Looking at the person who came down, Qinya was slightly surprised. Yi Hua sensed it. "What's the matter?" Yi Hua looked over. "This man's looks are not bad, and the woman is also not bad. However, compared to my woman, they are far from being comparable. Do you know where the difference is? Because Qinya is my woman, she is born to be above everything else." Chapter 44. Qin Yutong ate the fresh and tender fish meat and said curiously, "Big sister, this can't be your ex-boyfriend, right?" Upon hearing what Qinya said, Yi Hua's face immediately darkened. While waiting for Qinya to give an explanation, "I don't mind making this ex-boyfriend of mine bleed on the spot." "Yi Hua, don't listen to Yutong's nonsense," Qinya hurriedly explained. However, after she finished speaking, she immediately scolded herself in her heart. Why did I have to explain to him, and even so quickly? Qin Yutong pouted her mouth. From the looks of it, big sister is indeed interested in brother-in-law. Tell me what happened? That's right. Sis, don't keep us in suspense. Qinya let out a sigh of relief, then looked at the man and woman who were not far away and said, "This man is called Xiao Yi, a member of Zijin City's Xiao family. To be precise, he is an illegitimate child. I heard that he was chased out of Xiao family back then, but a few years ago he suddenly rose to power, and even married Nangong family's big miss and established Dragon God Corporation." "Yi Xiaoyi? I have also heard about it. I heard that he has a lot of wives." Qin Yutong added. "Many wives? How could such a man have so many wives? Even I, the Supreme Overlord, only have one wife. What right do you have to have a lot of wives?" He glanced at his sister-in-law. She was pleasing to the eye. "Brother-in-law, what kind of look is that? I am a woman from a good family." Qin Yutong came over and covered her chest with both of her hands, just like a girl who was being molested. Qinya couldn't be bothered to say anything to Yi Hua. My younger sister just likes to mess around, and she completely didn't know that this time, Yi Hua indeed had such thoughts. "Sister, why aren't you saying anything? Brother-in-law has taken a fancy to his sister-in-law. Don't you care about it? Alright then, I don't need you to give me condoms anymore. I want to have a baby with brother-in-law." Seeing that his big sister did not have any reaction at all, he immediately hugged onto Yi Hua's arm. Qinya couldn't help but want to take off her shoes and cover herself up. Yi Hua expressed that his sister-in-law's development is not bad, and she is a bit stronger than Qinya. Now Lord Jiu was very curious. Who dared to cause trouble in his territory? Didn't they know how the word death was written? When he saw that familiar blue uniform in that face, Lord Jiu was stunned. Looking at Jiu Yi who was walking over, Tang Wei was very afraid as she grabbed onto Wei Chang's sleeves. "Back then, I heard from my colleague that this Jiu Yi is someone who can cover the sky with one hand in Long and City and is extremely arrogant, but I never expected that this shop was actually this Jiu Yi's shop. He had caused Uncle Wei to suffer miserably. I heard that only the boss is able to suppress Jiu Yi, but why isn't the boss stepping forward?" Wei Chang looked coldly at the three people walking towards him, without a trace of fear. When Xiao Yi saw Wei Chang, he recalled his past experiences and revealed a smile. Nangong Sini seemed to know what her man was smiling about. She poked Xiao Yi's waist and the latter hugged his wife's waist. Qin Yutong clicked her tongue a few times. F***K, why are you people so shameless, showing off your love no matter where you go? Go and find one then. Qinya said tenderly. Qin Yutong blinked her beautiful eyes. I want brother-in-law, big sister, give me half. Take it. I'll give them all to you. Really? Qinya fiercely rolled her eyes at her little sister. Can't you be a bit more mature? You are already a movie queen, yet you are still acting like a child. Looking at Wei Chang in front of him, Lord Jiu didn't know how to address him. He was the subordinate of that strange boss. Could it be that he should call him Big Brother? But he felt so embarrassed. So it's you. I still haven't properly thanked you for the matter last time. Lord Jiu straightforwardly retreated in order to advance. Last time, it was indeed Wei Chang who let Yi Hua in. What he said was not false. Wei Chang slightly frowned. It's you. Everyone present was stupefied. This security guard actually came into contact with Lord Jiu. What's going on? And looking at Lord Jiu's posture, it seems like he has the intention to curry favor with him. Lord Jiu's actions caused even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini who were behind him to be slightly startled. This Lord Jiu is indeed outstanding in Longan City. Since I came to invest in Longan City, I naturally have to come and meet this local tyrant. However, this kind of person is actually afraid of a security guard. Xiao Yi thought of himself. I want to see if you are really like me or if you are pretending. Xiao Yi's gaze became serious and immediately looked towards Wei Chang. However, the result was disappointing. Wei Chang was just a normal person. Yi Hua and Wei Chang both felt it. I didn't expect this man to be a bit interesting. There is actually a familiar smell coming from his body. In such a small shop, two people appeared at the same time. Yi Hua felt that he did not come out for nothing this time. This man can be considered to be of high grade, it's just that the smell coming from his body made me feel disgusted. You came at the right time, compensate me. Wei Chang said indifferently, not having the slightest bit of intention to give face to Lord Jiu. Lord Jiu was very embarrassed. Even if I have to offend the two people behind me, I don't dare to offend this person. Lord Jiu laughed lightly and said, Everyone, my shop has some matters to take care of. Today's fees will be completely waived. Since Lord Jiu had already spoken till this point, the people that were still sitting felt embarrassed to sit down and watch the show. After all, they still had to give face to Lord Jiu. Not long later, everyone left, even Qi Shuwen left. Right now, I don't want to go and provoke this kind of big shot, so I obediently went to the sea to eat shrimps. Miss, my shop has some private matters to take care of. A waiter came to Yi Hua's table and said politely. Waiving the fees for this table was very painful. After we finish eating, we will naturally leave. Qin Ye said indifferently, I really don't understand why Yi Hua's employees are so arrogant. Qin Yutong was very unhappy. The show had just started. How can I leave just like that? Don't worry, I won't forget about your money. My brother-in-law has plenty of it. The waiter was a little displeased. I already waived such an expensive fee, yet you still don't want to leave. However, it wasn't good for me to say anything, so I can only go and report to the waiter. Director Gong, the customer at that table, is not willing to leave. The waiter came in front of Jiu Yi and said respectfully. Jiu Yi was currently in a fit of anger. Right now, whoever dares to provoke me will be the one to be unlucky. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry are coming to annoy me. Do they really think that I am that easy to provoke? Turning his head and looking towards a table at the corner, Jiu Ye's chin almost dropped to the ground. My God, I didn't check the almanac when I went out today. The real big boss is actually sitting there and watching the show. If I had shouted out just now, just imagine how serious the consequences would be. When Jiu Yi saw the woman beside the big boss, he couldn't help but sigh. No wonder he didn't even want the woman that was delivered to his doorstep. Where else can I find this kind of woman? Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini also saw Yi Hua's table and went into a slight daze. They felt that these three people were a bit interesting. Jiu Yi swallowed his saliva, then walked over with a respectful expression and shouted towards Yi Hua, Boss. This word boss was clearly heard by everyone present. Other than Wei Chang, who was not surprised, everyone else was stupefied, even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini. The two of them were guessing in their hearts, could it be that the boss behind this Jiu Yi is him? Looking at Jiu Ye's respectful expression, it seems like it is indeed so. Chapter 45. But this middle-aged man in front of him actually called Yi Hua boss with a respectful attitude. He couldn't have recognized the wrong person, right? Right now, Qin Yutong was not fooling around. She was sitting upright at the side, appearing to be very cold and elegant. Adding on the black dress that she was wearing, she was simply extremely sexy. The acting skills of a movie empress was not just for show. Towards this brother-in-law, Qin Yutong was only curious as to why big sister would have a child with him, and wanted to dig out this gossip. Just that, the surprises that brother-in-law brought wave after wave, are really too interesting. Could it be that brother-in-law is a big shot of some organization, and he is hiding in this flower city, and then, on a beautiful night, he came to save the beauty and big sister was taken care of? The plot should be like this. It must be said that the reasoning ability of the movie queen was too strong. The first half of the story was actually guessed correctly, but the second half was completely wrong. it was her big sister who delivered herself to his door. "Xiao Jiu, this restaurant of yours is a bit expensive," Yi Hua said lightly. Calling him Xiao Jiu was giving him face. If he didn't give him face, he would directly tell him to scram. Jiu Ye's expression changed and he hurriedly said, "My subordinates are not sensible, they didn't know that the boss came to eat." I immediately criticized them. It wasn't easy for me to come out to eat, but my mood was completely ruined. Yi Hua picked up a napkin and lightly wiped the corner of his mouth. That indifferent gaze of his, and every movement he made emitted out a faint aura of a superior. At this moment, Wei Chang couldn't pretend that he didn't see anything, and hurriedly walked forward and shouted, "Boss." Tang Wei also followed behind and shouted, "Boss." Yi Hua placed the napkin on the table. "Xiao Jiu, my employee's phone is broken." "Don't worry boss, I will compensate." Looking at Tang Wei who was standing behind Wei Chang, Yi Hua said indifferently, "That manager just now was chased away by you, right?" A drop of cold sweat appeared on Jiu Ye's forehead. This boss obviously has a hidden meaning in his words. Why did he bring up that idiot for no reason? There must definitely be a reason. I have to properly figure out the boss's meaning. If I say it correctly, it will naturally be good, but if I say it wrongly, it will be hard to hug onto this thigh. After remaining silent for 3 seconds, Jiu Yi immediately understood Yi Hua's meaning. "I also only found out today, I didn't expect that the manager's attitude would be so bad. Xiao Tang, this girl is not bad, she is calm and collected, I definitely think that she can become the manager." As expected of the experienced Jiu Yi, it only took him 3 seconds to understand Yi Hua's meaning. This also meant that the title of Jiu Yi was not for nothing. Tang Wei had a bit of the intention to refuse. After all, being promoted in such a short period of time feels so unreal. Wei Chang was startled. "His honor is already standing up for you. If you are to reject him, wouldn't that be bad? Lil Tang, hurry up and thank him," Wei Chang hurriedly urged. Right now, Tang Wei only trusted Wei Chang. She could only nod her head and say, "Thank you, Director Gong." "You are wrong to thank me," Wei Chang reminded again. "Xiao Tang's brain is even worse than mine." Tang Wei cried out in surprise and was a bit flustered. Only after a while did she understand what was going on and said to Yi Hua, "Thank you, boss." Yi Hua said faintly, "Thank him, there is no need to thank me." Tang Wei immediately felt embarrassed. Wei Chang was also having a headache. Could it be that my judgment is wrong again? Alright, the other person has already thanked you, yet, you are still putting on a stern face. Qinya said in a low voice. "I obviously wanted to help the other person, yet I am still acting as if it wasn't my original intention." Yi Hua glared at Qinya. "A boss should act like a boss. Don't tell me that I still have to be so mischievous with my subordinates. I have to properly teach Qinya about this. A small matter, a small matter." Jiu Yi smiled apologetically. Yi Hua was rather satisfied with this Jiu Yi. His brain works fast enough. He stood up and said, "After eating, let's go home." "Boss, madams, I will go and prepare the car right now." "Madams?" Qin Ye's face immediately darkened, and Qin Yutong's face immediately reddened. Yi Hua was very calm. "My sister-in-law is still under my investigation. Whether or not she is able to become the second madam will depend on her luck. This scoundrel is actually not explaining. He has ulterior motives. Brother-in-law is actually not explaining. Big sister is also not speaking. Could it be that they are planning to, so perverted?" Xiao Qing, long time no see. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini, who had been observing from the side, walked over, and the one who spoke was Nangong Sini, who had a slight smile on her face. Yi Hua took a glance at her. This woman's temperament is not bad, and her overall appearance is not bad. It is a pity that she is not clean. Qingya seemed to be searching for her memories in her mind. "I don't seem to have any dealings with her, but since the other party has already greeted me politely, I can't be like Yi Hua and ignore her." "Madam Xiao, hello." Qinya clenched her small fists. "Right now, I really want to strangle my little sister to death. She is actually impersonating me." "That's right." Qin Yutong was even faster than Qinya. She immediately stood up and shook hands with Nangong Sini. This kind of action made even Yi Hua reveal out a trace of a smile. This sister-in-law really knows how to cause trouble. Look at Qinya's expression. She is almost unable to hold it in anymore. "Xiao Xiao, you are still so handsome," Qin Yutong said with a slight smile. She who mingled in the entertainment circle was very good at speaking. Even if she did not know someone, she would still be able to pretend that she knew someone. Just that, Qin Yutong's words made Yi Hua unhappy. "As my sister-in-law, there is no need for you to please others. It is fine for you to just wait for others to compliment you." Xiao Yi was also incomparably surprised towards this pair of sisters. The luck of the man in the middle is even better than mine, I am really envious. Xiao Qing is still so beautiful, this is? Xiao Yi asked with a smile. He was very curious about the identity of this man. Although Jiu Yi said that this man was the madam's just now, Xiao Yi still didn't quite believe it. He is my husband Yi Hua, Qing Yutong said magnanimously. Right now I am disguised as my big sister, so brother-in-law is naturally my husband, that's right. Qing Yi couldn't hold it in anymore, and with an apologetic smile she stood up. Xiao Xiao, Madam Xiao, my little sister likes to mess around, please don't mind her. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini were a bit puzzled. Just what is the relationship between these three people? Qing Yutong laughed tenderly. Sorry, my big sister is jealous. In actuality, he is my brother-in-law. If you continue to mess around, then go back. Qing Yi snorted coldly. This little sister of mine is getting more and more out of control. Qing Yutong's little face collapsed, then pulled onto Yi Hua, who was at the side, and said pitifully, brother-in-law, big sister is scolding me. Qing Yi, enough, Yutong is still a child. Yi Hua patted onto Qing Yutong, who had a dumbfounded face, and said calmly. 10,000 monkeys floated around in Qing Yutong's mind. You are the child. Have you ever seen a child with such a good figure? Right now Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini still hadn't thought of Qing Yutong, the big celebrity, and only felt that these three people were a bit weird. Chapter 46. Xiao Qing, when did you get married? You didn't even inform big sister? Nangong Sini faintly smiled. She actually called big sister. It seems like she wants to get closer to her. To Nangong Sini, this was definitely an action that was giving face to Nangong Sini. However, Qing Yi had an indescribable feeling, as if she was at a disadvantage. Why do I have to call you big sister? What does this have to do with you? Yi Hua really wanted to chase the two of them away, but he felt that it would be meaningless if he did that. He really wanted to see how Qing Yi was going to deal with this matter. After being together with me for a few days, it is time for me to change. This woman still dared to call herself sister? Did she eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? If it was 1 month ago, Qing Yi would definitely grab onto this kind of opportunity. However, right now, she didn't have the slightest bit of such a thought. Looking at Yi Hua, could it be that I have been brainwashed? Madam Xiao, Yi Hua and I have not had a banquet yet. Qing Yi gave out a courteous smile. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini slightly wrinkled their brows. This Qing Yi doesn't seem to be giving face at all. She is a woman with character. The two of them seemed to be used to it. This kind of woman was just like that. It seemed like she used this kind of method to attract their attention. Xiao Qing, tomorrow night I will be holding a banquet. I hope you can give me some face. Nangong Sini changed from her previous gentle tone and invited with a businesslike tone. Qing Yi nodded her head and did not refuse. All right. Sini, let's go. It's too stuffy here. Xiao Yi said indifferently. Nangong Sini said in a tender voice, Xiao Qing will be leaving first. See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night. The two of them sat in the Rolls-Royce parked outside. Xiao Yi hugged his wife and unhappily asked, Why did you invite such a disrespectful woman? Nangong Xan said gently, It is precisely because she did not give you face that you invited her. Although it is only a small banquet, the people who came are all trying to curry favor with you. Xiao Yi laughed and lifted his wife's chin. It seems that you are more stingy than me. Only now do you realize how rare it is for me to be alone with you. You have to do your best tonight. I guarantee that I will complete the daily missions and make you wish you were dead. In the dining hall, Qing Yutong burped very unladylike. Big sister, the famous madam of Xiao family wants to address you as a sister, and you really don't give her any face. Yi Hua stood up and said faintly, There is no need to give face to others. Qing Yi did very well. Yutong, you should learn from your big sister. Qing Yi laughed complacently, then immediately became clear-headed. What am I laughing for? It seems like I am a little wife that is being praised. This scoundrel is making fun of me again. Your Honor, do you want subordinate to go and deal with those two people from just now? Wei Chang sent out a private message. People like them who are disrespectful to His Honor should live in hell. Wei Chang, I originally wanted to praise you. Don't always think about fighting and killing. You have to be more humane. A salted fish will forever be a salted fish. Even if you turn over a new leaf, you will still be a salted fish. Do you understand? This subordinate is ignorant. Looks like I shouldn't have asked you to deal with the assassin group. Use this time to reflect on human nature. Your Honor is wise, we are far inferior to you. You go back first. Yes. After the two of them finished their private conversation, Wei Chang respectfully said, Boss, I'll leave first. Yi Hua grunted faintly. Tang Wei seemed to have something to say, but in the end she mustered up her courage and said, "Boss, I think it is better to let someone else be the manager." Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. Wei Chang thought to himself, this is bad. Xiao Tang, don't anger his honor anymore. There is still one more month before school starts. I was thinking about it just now, I still have to focus on my studies during the day and work at night. Up to you. Yi Hua said lightly, stopping Jiu Yi from sending them off. Then he brought along his wife and sister-in-law and walked out of Tianxia. This meal is still free. Counting the money, I can buy a lot of crayfish with the money. When Jiu Yi saw those big shots leaving, he let out a sigh of relief. I better not bump into this boss again in the future. Uncle Wei, wait for me for a moment, I will go and change my clothes. Tang Wei revealed out a cute smile, just like a little bird that had just obtained its freedom. Wei Chang nodded his head and not long later Tang Wei walked over. In actuality, Tang Wei's appearance was really not bad. She was a standard classical beauty, with a spotlessly white and flawless oval face, coupled with that tall and slender figure. No matter where she went, she would be a beautiful scenery. As expected of the school belle, it was also Yi Hua's fault for setting his sights too high. The white dress that Tang Wei was wearing added a hint of fairy-like feeling to her. However, Wei Chang did not have any reaction at all. It can't be helped, who asked me to not be interested in women, only interested in eating humans. If it was Lai Gu who tried it, he would definitely be able to make a deal that was worth hundreds of billions. Uncle Wei, you haven't eaten yet, right? Let me treat you to a meal. Tang Wei held onto her cheap handbag and said with a smile. Wei Chang said, no need, Xiao Tang, I had just bought some groceries and was preparing to cook for myself. Really? Uncle Wei, I'm not bragging, but the food that I cook is very delicious. Is that so? Wei Chang asked puzzledly. Tang Wei nodded her head with a smile. Of course, I will cook for you and you will know after you eat. Alright then, thank you, Xiao Tang. Wei Chang smiled. In actuality, he did not have any other meaning, but Tang Wei seemed to be very shy and decided to properly understand Uncle Wei. When they arrived at Wei Chang's rented house, Tang Wei discovered that Uncle Wei was actually living alone, and the house was very clean. Once again, Tang Wei expressed her admiration towards Wei Chang and decided that in the future, she would come and cook for Uncle Wei. Wei Chang was completely unaware that he was being pestered by a little beauty, but it must be said that Tang Wei's guts was still rather big, to even dare to get close to Wei Chang. One must know that out of the 7 sins, other than Lai Gu, the other 5 chose to avoid Wei Chang. Because Wei Chang was a one-track-minded person, it was very hard to communicate with him. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Qinya walked to the bedroom and took a nap. Yi Hua did not disturb Qinya and went to the office to watch cartoons. Human nature was still very important. After Qin Yutong washed her makeup, she was cleaning the storage room. After all, there was still one more month before she could move out, and she wanted her own personal space. After she finished cleaning the storage room with great difficulty, Qin Yutong wiped off the sweat on her forehead and muttered, "This brother-in-law, he really doesn't know how to love his sister-in-law, not even coming to help." Pushing open the door of the office, a voice immediately rang out from inside the office, causing Qin Yutong to go into a daze. As I wish, Qin Yutong stared blankly at the Calabash brothers on the television, then looked at her brother-in-law who had a serious look on his face. Her worldview was completely destroyed, such a grown man, and yet he is still watching cartoons. Brother-in-law, Qin Yutong shouted out sweetly. If it was someone else, Yi Hua would have mercilessly given that person a slap, but unfortunately that person was his sister-in-law. And Yi Hua replied faintly. Qin Yutong sat beside Yi Hua, then picked up the remote control and directly changed the show. Brother-in-law, why are you still so childish? Let me introduce a better show to you, I watch it every day. Yi Hua resisted the urge to slap his sister-in-law, to actually change the show without my permission. Even Qinya wouldn't dare to do this. Here, look at this, it's super good. After choosing the show, Qin Yutong crossed her long and beautiful legs and had a face full of expectation. Chapter 47. A few black lines immediately appeared on Yi Hua's forehead. Watching Calabash brothers saving Grandpa is nurturing one's humanity, but what do you mean by this joyful expression? Is it nurturing one's childhood? Brother-in-law, I will pause for a bit to go and get some snacks. Wait for me, don't watch it yourself. After speaking, Qin Yutong wore her cute slippers, slipped downstairs and carried a big pile of snacks up. Brother-in-law, do you want to eat some potato chips? No. Brother-in-law, do you want to order McDonald's? No. Do you want to drink fragrant milk tea? Not drinking. Do you want to eat one spicy stick? You dare to eat my spicy stick? Yi Hua said gravely. Qing Yutong's face tensed up. Eat a bit of numbness. Give it to me. Brother-in-law. Don't snatch my spicy stick, I will give it to you. Ayaya, brother-in-law, how can you be like this? Return it to me. Qingya, who was in her sleep, heard a slight noise and immediately woke up. Yawning, she wore her pajamas and walked out of the bedroom. Pushing open the office door, she was stupefied by the scene in front of her. What are you two doing? Qingya shouted angrily. Qing Yutong could be seen pressing down on Yi Hua, and Yi Hua had stretched out the spicy stick in his hand far away, making Qing Yutong unable to snatch it. Big sister, look at brother-in-law, he snatched my spicy stick. Qing Yutong said angrily, pouting her mouth as she accused brother-in-law of his evil deeds. Qingya looked at the spicy stick in Yi Hua's hand and immediately let out a sigh of relief. However, she still shouted out, how old are the two of you? Look at joyful expression and still snatch the spicy stick. Yi Hua, you are going to be a father. Qing Yutong, you are going to be an aunt. Are you going to snatch the milk bottle from the child? Yi Hua sat up and continued to look at joyful expression. From time to time he would eat a spicy stick, completely ignoring Qingya's education, feeling that this joyful expression could also nurture one's humanity. Brother-in-law, give me one. Go downstairs and get it yourself. There's no more, this is the last pack. Go buy it yourself. Brother-in-law. Qingya held onto her forehead and felt that her blood pressure was rising a bit. Originally it was fine if there was only Yi Hua, this weirdo, but now there is another one. My heart is so tired. Suddenly, a scene appeared in Yi Hua's mind. My own child was fighting with them to watch cartoons, but in the end he wasn't able to win against them and ended up crying and throwing a tantrum. Then he tried to fight with them over spicy gluten, but he wasn't able to win against them. My God, I really want to die. Unable to contain her anger, Qingya directly unplugged the power supply and stood in front of her husband and sister with a cold expression. Qingya, what are you doing? Sis, I'm enjoying myself. Qingya said coldly, we need to have a good talk. Big sister, what is there to talk about? Quickly turn on the TV. Qing Yutong urged. Qing Yutong, what exactly do you want to do now? In the past, when you were filming, you would not return home all year round, and now that you say that you are not going to do it, what are you going to do about your compensation for breach of contract? Qing Yutong spread out her hands indifferently. I have already paid the penalty fee. Other than that Ferrari, right now, I don't even have the money to refuel my car. Then what are you planning to do? Eat and wait for death? Big sister, don't say it like that, I am a woman with a plan. Qing Yutong said mysteriously, seemingly like she was going to do something big, and this made Qingya's anger calm down a bit. What have you decided to do? Qing Yutong stood up, slightly raised her chin to a 45 degrees angle, then said in a deep voice, I have decided to become a female anchor. Female anchor? Qingya went into a daze for a moment, then continued, you, a person who graduated from acting, want to become a female anchor? Did Dad find some connections for you? Big sister, I'm not talking about that female anchor, I am talking about live broadcast on the platform, the kind that can be watched on the computer. Qingya went into a daze and soon after, her face began to twitch. It was obvious that she was extremely angry. Qing Yutong thought to herself, this is the prelude to a fight, and immediately hid behind Yi Hua. You quit when your career is at its peak. You don't even want to be a movie queen and actually went to become a female anchor. I'm going to teach you a lesson on behalf of Dad today. Qingya was angered by her sister. Back then she went to become a celebrity no matter what, and now that her career is at its peak, she quit. She actually went to become a female anchor, my God. Is there something wrong with her brain? Looking around the surroundings, Qingya picked up the broom that was at the corner and chased after her sister. There definitely is a deep hatred between the two of them. Brother-in-law, why aren't you controlling your wife? It hurts. The two women immediately chased after each other in the office. It was very lively. Yi Hua stretched out his hand and carried Qingya into his embrace, and the latter said unhappily, let go of me, I am definitely going to beat her to death today. Tisk. Seeing that her big sister was being carried, Qing Yutong made a face and provoked. Alright, be careful not to hurt the fetus. Yi Hua said tenderly. Qingya was so angry she helplessly threw away the broom in her hand, then turned her head and looked towards her man. Look at what she has become. Since young she has been acting according to her temper. Sooner or later, something bad will happen. There is nothing wrong with being an anchor. Every profession has its own master. It is fine as long as you are happy. Yi Hua felt that it was very miraculous that he was actually able to say such a reasonable sentence. Qing Yutong was very happy. That's right, what brother-in-law said is right, every profession has its own master. Big sister, you actually look down on an anchor. I despise you. You! Yutong, you should also speak less, your big sister is pregnant. Yi Hua warned, and as expected it was very effective. The two sisters did not say anything anymore. After a long while, Qing Yutong said calmly, I also want to accompany my parents more. These few years I have been busy with filming and almost forgot that I have a home. It is fine for me to just stay at home as an anchor. Qing Yu went into a daze. I didn't expect that my little sister would have such thoughts. Seems like I misunderstood her. Just that, Qing Yu neglected one thing. Qing Yutong was a movie empress level person. Who knows how many times she had acted out this kind of tragic drama. Then tomorrow you can go back to Zijin City to accompany your parents, or go back to Long and City to accompany your grandparents. Qing Yu said faintly. Qing Yutong immediately came in front of Qing Yu and held onto her big sister's delicate hand. How can I do that, big sister? You are pregnant now. Brother-in-law is a man. He will definitely not take good care of you. It is fine as long as your little sister is here. When my little nephew is born, I still want to bring him to go to the disco. If I say that I am not moved, I would be lying. It is still good that my little sister has this kind of thinking. Then, how do you plan to become an anchor? Qing Yu said calmly, seeming to have already given her approval, causing Qing Yutong to be overjoyed. As long as I can get past big sister, there won't be any problems. Back then, it was also because big sister supported me that I went to film. If not, I would also be like big sister right now, being a businesswoman. Qing Yutong said obediently, I plan to find a better platform to live stream. This way I will be able to earn money, and then buy a lot of good food and fun things for my little nephew, and bring him to chase after big sister's Be more serious. Qing Yu wrinkled her brows. I cannot let my own child be led astray by my little sister. Chapter 48. Alright, I'll be serious. Qing Yutong was extremely obedient. Qing Yu thought for a while, then came to a decision. I will open a company and you will be broadcasting. Big sister, it can't be. You even want to earn your little sister's money? Qing Yutong immediately knew her big sister's intention. A businesswoman is indeed a businesswoman. Do you eat and drink at my place for free? I also eat my brother-in-law's money. Qing Yutong retorted. Isn't your brother-in-law's money still mine? Yi Hua liked this sentence a lot. Not bad, not bad. Qing Yutong puffed up her cheeks. This is the behavior of a thief. I won't do it. It's fine if you don't want to do it, accompany mom and dad, then you can broadcast however you want. Big sister, look at what you are saying. It's the same if other people earn it, I might as well give it to big sister, right? Qing Yutong immediately cowered. Qing Yu said petulantly, the money earned will be split 9-10. Big sister, this isn't good, just split it 50. 50 will do, we are sisters. Qing Yu flicked her hair. Yutong, I'll split 9-10, you split 10. Yi Hua laughed. I didn't expect that Qing Yu, who was in his embrace, would have such a side. Qing Yutong looked at her big sister dumbfoundedly, and after a long while she said, I thought that I have a big sister who loves me, and a brother-in-law who loves me, who knew that they colluded with each other and thought of all ways to squeeze out the value of my little sister. What meaning is there left for me to live in this world? I'm leaving, you guys take care of yourselves. Qing Yu pouted her mouth and said, remember to take away the underwear on the balcony. I'm going to buy a packet of spicy gluten to calm myself down, then come back. Qing Yutong waved her hand, then left with her miserable back view. At this time a sentimental air should be added. Yi Hua hugged onto his wife and said faintly, 9-10, isn't that too ruthless? You don't know the speed at which she spends money. I'll help her save some money in case no one marries her in the future. Qing Yu said helplessly. Looking at Qing Yu's tenderness at this moment, Yi Hua discovered that Qing Yu was truly very beautiful, and his pair of hands unconsciously reached into his pajamas. What are you doing? Qing Yu grabbed onto that sinful big hand and shouted. Yi Hua came back to his senses. What happened just now? Did I eat the wrong medicine? Touch whether the child has grown up or not. Yi Hua didn't even know why he did that just now. He actually wanted to conquer her once again. Qing Yu still did not know what this scoundrel was thinking. I don't know who was the one who said at the start, but I, Yi Huang, will definitely not touch the same woman a second time. Qing Yu said mockingly. This general immediately suppressed Yi Hua tightly. Yi Hua, who was extremely gloomy, put down the beauty that was in his embrace and walked to the balcony to smoke. Qing Yu felt great and shouted out, Yi Hua, as long as you say that you are a big swindler, I will treat it as if you didn't say those words. Yi Hua silently smoked a stick of cigarette, then turned his head around and said coldly, The words that I Yi Hua have said, not even 10 Kuan would be able to pull me back. Let's see how long you can keep your mouth shut. After Qinya finished speaking, she prepared to leave. After teaching my little sister a lesson, I seem to have forgotten to teach my husband a lesson. Forget it, look at how depressed my husband is, I will teach him a lesson next time. With a slight smile on her face, Qinya returned to her bedroom. Seems like my charm did not degenerate. After consecutively smoking 2 cigarettes, Yi Hua finally calmed down. This woman can't be a spy, right? But thinking about it, who would send such a stupid spy? But his state of mind was changing. This kind of anxiety made Yi Hua a bit irritated. He sent a secret message to Lai Gu. How is the matter going? Your Honor, everything is settled. A cyan snow dragon. This type of dragon has extremely high nutritional value, and will be of great help to little Your Honor. A golden delicate crane, which can nourish one's face and make one's madam even more beautiful. There is also a star-cleansing sparrow which can strengthen madam's physique. I have placed both of them on an uninhabited planet. Yi Hua was rather satisfied. After sensing Lai Gu's location, Yi Hua immediately disappeared from the office. Just at this moment, Qin Yutong came back from the office after buying spicy gluten. Where did brother-in-law go? I wanted to show off a bit. When Yi Hua appeared once again, what was in front of him was an expanse of white light. The towering mountain peaks were all frozen into a thick layer of ice, and the corpses of 3 gigantic ancient beasts were lying at the center of the valley. If one were to calculate the surface area, the size of one of the 3 ancient beasts would be enough to occupy 8 soccer fields. The 3 ancient beasts all had one thing in common, and that was, a large piece of their necks were bitten off, and right now all of the 3 ancient beasts were still bleeding. The blood of the ancient beasts were all golden in color, and the nutritional value was also extremely high. Lai Gu's figure appeared on top of the corpses, and seemingly like he was showing off his battle prowess, Lai Gu ran to the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. You go back first. Yes, Your Honor. Before Lai Gu left, he secretly bit a piece of the golden delicate crane's meat, then happily returned to the big celebrity's house. Inside the luxurious villa, 3 beautiful figures were currently playing in the water, causing Lai Gu's saliva to flow out. If someone were to see these 3 beautiful figures, they would definitely cry out in surprise. Aren't these the 3 popular actresses? Why are there 2 more of them? I have to thank Lai Gu for pulling my 2 best friends into the water. And Lai Gu did not reject any of them. Yi Hua shook his head. This Lai Gu, he is rather generous towards women. Those female dragons in the past are also the same, but unfortunately all of them died in battle in the end. Because of this, Lai Gu was sad for an entire year and then he gave up on himself. Could it be that he found his true love this time? Just that, Yi Hua didn't expect that Lai Gu found 3 true loves. If Yi Hua were to find out that his subordinates have more women than him, where would his face be? Yi Hua took off the fresh meat from the 3 ancient beasts' bodies, and also took a drop of blood. After all, the blood contained extremely strong power, and Qinya was a normal human, so she couldn't eat too much of it. The feathers of the golden delicate crane and the star-cleansing sparrow were not bad, they were rather beautiful, and they were very suitable for women. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Yi Hua first placed the meat in the fridge. After freezing it for a while, the taste would be even better. As for the feathers, I still have to process them a bit, if not, with just a fan I would fly away. Brother-in-law, where did you go just now? Qin Yutong walked out from the storage room and asked curiously. I bought some meat for dinner. Yi Hua said faintly. Qin Yutong responded with an oh, then ran downstairs. After that, Yi Hua heard Qin Yutong shout, Brother-in-law, help me move it, I can't move it. Yi Hua let out a breath. This sister-in-law sure is troublesome. I, the dignified supreme overlord, am going to help you move things. Yi Hua moved the big cardboard box into Qin Yutong's bedroom and asked puzzledly, what is it? A computer. I am someone who is going to be a broadcaster, of course I have to buy a computer that is used to make a living. Qin Yutong deftly assembled the computer, appearing to be very skilled. Didn't you say that you don't have money? That's right, brother-in-law, you didn't bring your phone when you went out just now, so I used your money to buy it. I didn't expect that the password would be so simple. The corner of Yi Hua's mouth twitched, then walked out helplessly, leaving behind Qin Yutong who was assembling the computer. After half an hour of assembling the computer, Qin Yutong let out a breath. Finally done, my little darling, quickly come out, master. Chapter 49. Master, the mission is a little complicated. I'm still calculating it. What? Weren't you the one who asked me to come back and be a host? Qing Yutong said snappily. Who in the world would just pat their buttocks and leave just like that? Not giving up on the title of Best Actress. Isn't it still this system that's making things difficult for me? Master, there's a change in the mission. What change? Qing Yutong asked curiously. The original main mission has been expanded to a side mission. You can win chicken dinner once with your own ability. Qing Yutong thought that it was some big mission. Don't say one chicken, I can even eat 2 chickens. Master, I'm talking about the PUBG game. You can search it online and you'll know. Remember, you have to get the PUBG during the live broadcast. After a long while, you actually want me to be a game streamer? Don't you know that I am a girl with bad hands? Master, the system is here to make up for your flaws. Qing Yutong had already heard it a few hundred times. Alright, tell me, what is the main quest? Main mission: seduce brother-in-law and lose your virginity without your sister knowing. Qing Yutong was completely stupefied. How can there be such a ridiculous mission? System? Are you serious? Yes. It feels so exciting, as long as Master is happy. Happy your sister? You actually told me to go and poach Big Sister's man, see if I don't beat you to death. Qing Yutong said angrily, I have never seen such a shameless system. Master, once you complete this main storyline, you will be able to use anything in the system shop. What? Qing Yutong was scared silly. I have only exchanged for the things in the system 7 to 8 times, and I feel that I am almost invincible, but right now I can actually use them as I wish, and the condition is to push down brother-in-law. Isn't this too easy? Little darling, don't think that just because you are like this, I will do something that will let down Big Sister. I am a very principled woman. Qing Yutong snorted, and with a righteous and awe-inspiring appearance, she had a look of not lowering her head to evil forces. Master, is your brother-in-law handsome? Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Of course, my big sister's eyes are still very bright. Don't you have any ideas? Little sweetheart, are you questioning my character? Master, do you still have any moral standing? Qing Yutong snorted. Master, sisterly love can be shared. Think about how you can travel around the universe and visit all kinds of countries after you complete the mission. Don't you feel happy? You actually used this kind of thing to tempt me. If we have a deep sisterly love. Master, your sister said that she would give you condoms. Have you forgotten? Maybe she can accept it. Are you sure? Qing Yutong's face was filled with disbelief. Of course. Besides, you might not be able to complete the mission. Your brother-in-law is not interested in you. Qing Yutong couldn't stand being goaded the most, and she said in disdain, Tisk, that is only because I didn't bring out my true strength. Let me tell you, I will be able to push down brother-in-law tonight. Just you watch. If Big Sister gets angry, I will sell you out to be the scapegoat. Master, as long as you can push me down, you can sell me out. Good, with your words I can rest assured. From now on, the operation plan to overthrow brother-in-law has officially started. Brother-in-law, sister-in-law is here. Big Sister, prepare the condoms. Forget it, what the hell do I need condoms for? I want to give birth to a monkey for brother-in-law. The system let out a deep sigh. I'm letting you hug my thigh, there is no other meaning. Compared to the things that can be exchanged in the system, this man is the biggest treasure. Becoming the woman that he approves of will be the greatest glory. As a system, I can also act cool in the system world. Master, whether or not we can act cool will depend on you. Your big sister is already one step ahead of us. We cannot let go of the position of the second wife. At that time, we will be above billions of people and below only 2 people. Right now, Yihua still didn't know that he had already been stared at by his sister-in-law. He walked into the bedroom and looked at Qinya, who was on the bed. Why do you sleep on the bed all day long? Pregnant woman, can't I sleep a lot? Qinya said faintly as she looked at the finance channel. Yihua didn't say anything. He sat at the bedside and said, You are not allowed to go to tomorrow's banquet. What? Qinya asked gravely. Why is this man so overbearing, not allowing this and not allowing that? Yihua said lightly, There's no reason why, as my woman, not just anyone can be invited to my place. Qinya laughed. Your acting cool after smoking syndrome is acting up again. Yihua didn't say anything and insisted on his own decision. Qinya sighed. I have already promised others if I don't go, I will offend the Dragon God Corporation. I just want you to learn how to reject those people. If you offend them, then so be it. In this world there is no one that I, Yihua, cannot offend. Yihua said in disdain. His goal was to let Qinya learn a principle. As long as you are my woman, you will be invincible. If others come to invite you, it is already giving you a lot of face because at least you still have the chance to invite them, while some people don't even have this chance. Qingya suddenly became very serious. She stretched out her hand and touched Yihua's forehead, then touched her own forehead. I don't have a fever. Let's go out for a walk tomorrow. Yihua slapped away Qingya's hand and said coldly. If this woman was slightly more obedient, I wouldn't be so tired. Don't. It's not up to you to not want. Yihua said. Do I still have human rights? I am protesting against your dictatorship. There is no need to discuss this matter anymore, I have already decided. Do you dare to run and let me see? I will run and let you see. After speaking, Qingya wore her slippers. Just that, she was only wearing one slipper when she was carried by Yihua. You bastard, let go of me, if I don't go, let's go and starve. Qingya slapped onto Yihua's arm. If I offend the Dragon God Corporation, my plan to go north would be ruined. Furthermore, if the Dragon God Corporation were to speak, a lot of suppliers would have to say goodbye to me. This interlocking reaction would make Qingqing International go bankrupt. Yihua didn't use much strength and said lightly, don't move, be careful of the child. Just how unlucky am I to have a husband like you? Do you know what the consequence of me not going tomorrow is? Our family of 3 will have to go begging for food. I will support you. Qingya's heart trembled fiercely as she stared fixedly at Yihua with her beautiful eyes. She suddenly felt that the current Yihua was really handsome. Why am I being infatuated? I have to quickly slap myself to wake up. Save your bar first, then talk. Qingya became a lot calmer, and her body was even slightly leaning into Yihua's embrace. Qingya. Yihua suddenly called out. Follow me and you don't have to fear anyone. Not knowing why, Qingya felt that what Yihua said was the truth, but she just couldn't stand seeing this fellow putting on a stern face. He is obviously hugging onto a super beauty, yet he still seems to be disgusted by her. What was your first woman like? After a long while, Qingya suddenly asked. Even she herself didn't know why she asked this question. Yihua said faintly, it has been many years, I don't remember. Chapter 50. TSK, you still don't remember? You're probably reminiscing about it. When Qingya said these words, she was completely unaware of how sour her tone was. Why doesn't this bastard know how to tactfully lie to me? Yihua said faintly, on the other hand, the aftertaste is quite deep for you. Scram, Qingya felt that Yihua would be able to talk about this matter for the rest of his life. If I had known earlier, I would have obediently returned home and slept that night. Of all people, I just had to come to this leisure bar to offer my body. As expected, I am very stupid. What Yihua said is absolutely right. As a supreme being, it had been a long time since he had heard these 2 touching phrases. If it wasn't for his woman, he would have been sent flying long ago. If one were to carefully listen to Qingya's tone, one would be able to tell that Qingya was just acting coquettishly. However, it was a pity that the honest and straightforward Yihua was unable to tell. Yihua, where are your parents? After a long while, Qingya asked. In any case, he has seen my family, so I should also meet him. No. After hearing that, Qingya went into a daze. Soon after, she apologized. I'm sorry. Yihua remained silent, and Qingya also remained silent. The atmosphere became strange once again. Looking at Qingya's pair of slim and small hands, Yihua wrinkled his brows. As the woman of my supreme overlord, how can my hands be empty? If news of this were to spread out, where would I put my face? However, Yihua felt that the things that I, the supreme overlord, gave to my woman would definitely be unique and of a high grade. Suddenly, Yihua recalled the movie that he watched last night. That kind of combination of gems is a bit interesting. Opening up the gem chest inside the space ring, Yihua found the space stone, time stone, soul stone, reality stone, power stone, and spirit stone. Inside the space ring, 6 infinity gems could be seen floating in the darkness, emitting resplendent lights that immediately lit up the entire space ring. Inside the space ring, various kinds of items could be seen, and any one of them would be able to make anyone go crazy. Wei Chang had a hobby of collecting, and this was all because he learned from Yihua. Like leader, like subordinate. The 6 infinity gems gradually moved closer to each other. If someone were to see this scene, they would definitely collapse in fear. These gems could be embedded, but they could not be fused. After all, every type of gemstone had a representative power. Who knew what would happen if the fusion failed? Yahua, ignorant humans, you will never know just how powerful the Supreme Overlord is. In that moment, the space ring shone with a powerful light, causing the entire space ring to shake. However, this violent energy was quickly suppressed by another energy, gradually calming down. It was like a tamed puppy. The 6 infinity gems had disappeared, leaving behind only one gem. It was so beautiful that it was suffocating. It had the power to destroy heaven and earth, and this huge contrast made people's hearts go cold. Yihua wrinkled his brows. The bracelet is too big. If I were to wear this bracelet on my hand using the words of humans, it would be vulgar. Along with Yihua's clenching of his palm, the entire gemstone instantly shrunk. The size of the gemstone was neither too big nor too small, just that, after the gemstone shrunk, it had a different kind of beauty to it. Yihua looked towards the weapon rack at the side, and a spear immediately flew out from the weapon rack. If I remember correctly, this should be an overlord's weapon. This spear's name was 3 Realms Crystal Spear, and Yihua was still unclear about the material of the spear. Back then, when I killed this overlord, I also paid a price. If it wasn't for this spear, I wouldn't have gotten injured. However, it doesn't matter right now, this spear can only be used as a ring. A powerful pressure suddenly burst out from the body of the spear, and the originally pitch-black sound of the spear became silvery white, and even became transparent. It seemed to be resisting Yihua's power. In actuality, weapons that have reached this level all have their own consciousness. It's just that this spear underestimated Yihua's power, thinking that Yihua was only an overlord back then. The sound of the spear was trembling, as if it was carrying unwillingness and deep fear. Under Yihua's control, the spear's body gradually became thinner, and soon after, it turned into a circle. At the opening of the spear, 6 silver thorns extended out, looking like a dragon claw. The infinity stone in the air slowly fell into the ring, and an infinity ring was successfully born. Taking into consideration the powerful energy of the ring, Yihua placed a seal on it. With Qingya's identity as a human, she was unable to activate the power of the ring, and it was just a unique ring. After all, Yihua didn't know what would happen if he were to wear this ring and snap his fingers. What if the movie was real? The infinity stone that fused together would probably be even more overpowered. I really don't know if Yihua is giving a present or a time bomb. Qingya. Wear this ring. Yihua took out the infinity ring, and Qingya was instantly captivated by the ring on Yihua's hand. Women, after all of them like glittering diamonds, and this diamond's color is something that even Qingya has never seen before. Although it isn't big, it is stunning. What is this fellow trying to do by fawning on me for no reason? However, it is really beautiful. Where did you buy it from? How much did you spend? Although Qingya questioned Yihua with her mouth, she was still very happy in her heart, and there was even a blush on her face. Yihua said faintly, "Street stall goods not worth much." Qingya also felt that Yihua was right. This kind of strange ring is definitely not a pure diamond, it should be artificially made. Qingya's guess was right, the ring was indeed artificially made. Are you going to propose to me? You are thinking too much, I just saw that your hand is empty. The favorable impression that Qingya just had was instantly extinguished, and she snorted and turned her head away. Yihua wouldn't let Qingya fool around like this, and he picked up the ring and put it on. Wrong. Wear it on your left hand. Qingya snorted and reminded. Yihua let out a breath and took off the ring. What are you wearing it on my thumb for? It isn't my index finger either. You actually wore it on my pinky. Yihua said gravely, enough. Isn't it just a ring? It doesn't matter which one I wear. Qingya, who was flustered and exasperated, snatched the ring over and wore it on her ring finger. It sure is beautiful, I'm so happy. Wrong. Why do I have to be happy? This fellow took my card and still wants to buy street stall goods. However, it is good that he has this kind of intention. Looking at the ring on Yihua's index finger, Qingya pouted her mouth. You should also learn to wear that ring like mine. You are no longer a single noble now, you have a family now. Women are so troublesome. Yihua said gravely, but he still changed the ring over. Humph, troublesome, why did you give me a ring? Qingya stretched out her hand. No matter how I look at it, it is beautiful. Yihua sure is considerate. Yihua pursed his lips and said faintly, because you are pitiful. Tieske, I think that you are more or less pitiful. If it wasn't for me, you would be prepared to be single for your entire life. Would I, Yihua, lack women? Can you not act cool? Chapter 51. Qingya finally understood why this fellow gave her something for no reason. It was actually to bribe her. With this bit of sincerity, she might consider peeling 20 kilograms of crayfish. Let's see. Qingya muttered. I will bring you out for a walk tomorrow. Don't lie on the bed every day. Yihua said gravely. Why is this woman so disobedient? She always does whatever I say. Qingya struggled free from Yihua's embrace, Even her pajamas were unable to hide her curvaceous figure. Tomorrow is Monday, there are still a lot of things waiting for me to settle in the company. You are the boss, do they still need you to handle this kind of small matter? Of course, how can they make such a decision? Qingya raised her chin and said proudly. Look at me, so young and already holding a lot of money. I am also beautiful. In any case, I have all kinds of good points. For you to have a wife like me, you should burn incense and pray to Buddha. Yi Hua stood up and said with an unquestionable tone, right now is the age of the internet, everything can be done at home. Wait until you give birth before going out. Impossible. You can give it a try. Change your clothes and come out to eat. I have specially prepared some tonics for you. After speaking, Yi Hua walked out of the bedroom, not giving Qingya a chance to resist. Qingya angrily sat on the bed, picked up the pillow and threw it here and there, fantasizing that the pillow was Yi Hua. How great would that be? However, looking at the ring on her ring finger, she was a bit happy in her heart. So beautiful. Yi Hua took out the iced prehistoric beast meat and cut it into 3 very evenly. Obsessive-compulsive patients were like this. He tore open a bag of spicy gluten and placed a few spicy gluten to decorate the food. Looking at the bright red meat and spicy gluten, Yi Hua was very satisfied with his work. Soon after, he took out a champagne glass, filled it with boiling water, then used that drop of blood and dripped it into the glass. The white boiling water instantly turned into a golden color, and even became very thick. It was not a liquid, but the taste was great. Then Yi Hua made the feathers of the golden crane and star sparrow into a fan and used the dragon bone as the frame of the fan. Then he sealed the fan so that the entire city would not be blown away. Needless to say, these 2 fans were indeed beautiful. The golden crane's feathers were orange, and there were even complicated patterns on its feathers, making it look very mysterious, while the star sparrow's feathers were snow white, without any impurities, making it look very noble and elegant, just like his woman. Everyone come down and eat. Yi Hua placed the food on the table and said like a waiter. After quite a while, the 2 sisters walked down from the stairs. Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. These 2 women really don't care about their image at all. Luckily, there is no one else around. They are still wearing their pajamas even though they are eating. Brother-in-law, where's your dragon meat? Qing Yutong ran over and asked jokingly. In Yi Hua's eyes, his sister-in-law was just like a child that had not grown up yet, and needed time to baptize her. For the time being, he would not touch her, unless she was able to meet his requirements. In actuality, what Yi Hua said was a kind of human feeling. This feeling isn't right, no matter how I look at it, it doesn't feel good. Just like the first time I saw Qingya, I was immediately captivated by Qingya's noble temperament. That's why the first impression is very important, and Qing Yutong was also able to act out the noble temperament of a big sister, but because her first impression was ruined. This caused her to still be a child. Have a seat. Yi Hua said faintly. Like a sovereign king, he sat down first, while the 2 sisters sat down like concubines. Just that, right now their complexion wasn't very good. You want me to eat raw meat? Don't you know there are bacteria in it? Qingya wrinkled her eyebrows and said unhappily. I thought that Yi Hua would be concerned about me, but in the end it was still the same. This time, Qing Yutong also helped her big sister and said, Brother-in-law, big sister is pregnant right now. How can you let big sister eat raw meat? This meat is even red. 2 ignorant women. How many people want to eat raw meat but are unable to eat it, and the 2 of you actually dislike it? Qing Yutong could be heard continuing, Brother-in-law, do you have to be so elegant even when eating spicy gluten? Suddenly, Qing Yutong suddenly shrieked, Big sister! What are you wearing on your hand? Qingya rolled her eyes at her little sister. Aren't you asking the obvious? Qing Yutong immediately held onto her big sister's hand. Such a beautiful ring, I didn't see you wearing it this morning. Could it be that it was given by brother-in-law? Brother-in-law. How can you be like this? Isn't there a share for me? Qing Yutong liked this kind of ring too much. She felt that this ring was even more amazing than ordinary diamonds. Qingya's head was about to explode. Can this ring be casually given away? Giving it to me is a matter of course, but what would it look like if it was given to my little sister? Qing Yutong puffed up her cheeks and stretched out her hands in front of Yi Hua. In any case, I want it. I have no choice but to give it to Yi Hua. Qingya, who was at the side, shook her head. My little sister is still the same as before. Whenever I have something good, she would snatch it away, and if I don't give it to her, she would act shamelessly. I remember that when I was young she was still rolling on the ground and it was all for a doll. Yi Hua took out the fans that he had finished making and placed the orange one on Qing Yutong's hands. The latter was stupefied. I didn't expect that there would really be a gift for me. The beauty of this fan is not the slightest bit inferior to the ring. holding it in my hands is super elegant. With a light fan, I immediately felt relaxed and happy. Qin Yutong was about to die from happiness. And when Qin Yutong's system saw the fan, its jaws almost dropped off. There is no item in the system shop that can compare to this fan, and the attributes of the ring on my master's big sister's hand are even filled with question marks. This man is indeed very strong. It is indeed not wrong for me to let my master hug onto my master's thigh, just that, with master's temper, I'm afraid that it will be hard for me to do it in a short period of time. Qin Yutong could be seen suddenly standing up, then kissed onto Yihua's cheek. Thank you, brother-in-law. Just that, right now Qinya was about to spit out fire. Why does my little sister have it, but I don't? Also, this Yutong, she actually kissed your brother-in-law right in front of me. Do you think that I am transparent? Seeing that her big sister's mood was a bit unstable, Qin Yutong knew that she was too excited just now and said embarrassedly to her big sister, "Big sister, don't misunderstand, this is a very pure kiss. It is a gift from sister-in-law to thank brother-in-law." Just as Qinya was about to start scolding her big sister, a spotlessly white fan appeared in front of her. Swoosh. When the fan opened up, Qinya seemed to be able to see specks of stars floating out. How can a fan be so beautiful? Qinya took the fan blankly, and a gentle smile appeared on her face. The displeasure that she had just now immediately disappeared. Seems like Yihua also learned how to coax women. This was not Yihua intentionally coaxing women, he just wanted to give them a bit of benefit. I finally understand the difference between a wife and sister-in-law. Brother-in-law, you are simply too biased. Qin Yutong was very jealous. Big sister's white fan is even more beautiful. The system was currently collapsing. Qinya kept the fan happily, then took a glare at her little sister. Eat your food. Humph, Qin Yutong snorted and took a sip of the champagne. At least in Qin Yutong's eyes, this was champagne. However, Qin Yutong opened her beautiful eyes wide. What is this thing? Why does it taste so good? Although it was just a small sip, that unique fragrance swirled in my mouth and soon after, it entered my brain, igniting my excited nerves. This is 2F** King Delicious. Chapter 52. Looking at the empty wine cup, Qin Yutong was filled with hatred. Just now, I shouldn't have finished the wine cup in one gulp and should have slowly tasted it. Qin Yutong's gaze immediately moved to the other two cups. Yihua and Qinya picked up the wine cup at the same time, causing Qin Yutong to stomp her feet in anger. These two stingy fellows. Qinya finally knew why her little sister would reveal such an expression. This wine is really delicious, so delicious that it could explode. I feel that my taste buds have been opened up. I have never drunk such a delicious drink before. Qinya, it's fine to drink this. Yihua said faintly, then picked up the knife and fork and began to enjoy the fresh meat of the ancient beast. Qinya lightly, then sipped on the meat bit by bit, causing Qin Yutong's saliva to flow out. Brother-in-law, I want more, Qin Yutong shouted out sweetly, continuously twisting her body like a child acting coquettishly. Yihua unhurriedly ate a piece of meat, and he felt that the taste was still the same. There wasn't much change. You can only drink 1 cup a week. What, brother-in-law, you are just stingy, humph. That's right. Qinya followed along and agreed. Seems like I also want to drink it every day. Can you guys drink the blood of the ancient beast every day? Aren't you afraid of it exploding? Qin Yutong looked at the fresh red meat on the plate and made up her mind. Isn't it just red meat? I have even eaten red steaks before. Yihua chose one of the 3 pieces of meat, then cut a small piece and stuffed it into his mouth with his eyes narrowed. 0.1 seconds later. Qin Yutong opened her eyes wide once again. What kind of meat is this? It actually melted in my mouth. This is the meat of the cleansing star sparrow. It has the miraculous effect of melting in one's mouth, and it can even strengthen one's body. How many overlords want to have a taste of this meat, but the cleansing star sparrow's strength is too strong, and they are unable to catch up. Looking at brother-in-law's calm face, Qin Yutong finally understood why the system pushed me to brother-in-law. This is the hidden super big boss. Big sister, quickly eat the meat, it is super delicious. Qinya seemed to still be worried. Qinya, I won't joke around with children. Yihua said gravely, this woman actually doesn't trust me this much. Qinya let out a heavy breath. Due to the fact that Yihua had done a lot of unreasonable things before, I am worried about him. She elegantly cut a piece of tender meat and placed it in her mouth. Her furrowed brows gradually relaxed. Although this meat didn't have the taste of salt, it was exceptionally sweet and delicious. It even had a strange fragrance to it, and it didn't have the pungent smell of cattle or sheep. This was a piece of golden crane meat. It was rumored that this meat had the effect of beautifying one's skin and could even preserve one's appearance forever. It also had the effect of reviving the dead. An ugly woman could become a beautiful woman. It was the dream of many women, and there were even many female supreme beings who were willing to do anything for this meat. Unfortunately, no one could do it. The effect will be even better if you pair it with spicy gluten, Yihua reminded. The two sisters rolled their eyes at him. When you are enjoying the delicacies, please do not spoil the mood. In less than 5 minutes, the two sisters finished wiping out all of the meat. At the same time, the two sisters looked towards Yihua, because there was still a piece of meat that Yihua had not finished. Eating too much is not good for your body. Yihua directly ignored his wife's threatening gaze and his sister-in-law's pitiful gaze. The two sisters snorted at the same time. Too stingy, it is obvious that I want to eat it, and yet he still says that eating too much is not good for my body. It's so hot. After a while, Qing Yutong shouted out as she picked up her golden fan and started waving it. Brother-in-law, did you drug sister-in-law? You two are so perverted, I want to go home, Qing Yutong teased. Although it was hot, it didn't feel like that. Qingya also felt very hot. After picking up the star-cleansing fan and fanning it slightly, she felt much more comfortable. However, she looked towards Yihua with a questioning gaze. Did you drug me? It's fine if you drug me, but you even drug my little sister. You are simply shameless. Yihua picked up a white towel and wiped his mouth. This is dragon meat. After eating it, you will feel a bit hot, but you will be fine after a while. Dragon meat? Brother-in-law, can you not brag? Yihua said faintly. The frame of the fan that you two are holding is also made from dragon bones. Alright Yihua, I know that you want to smoke, quickly go out and smoke. Qingya couldn't continue listening to Yihua. This bragging is about to reach outer space. On the other hand, Qing Yutong somewhat believed in Yihua. I must dig out the evidence that brother-in-law is a demon king, but the system isn't saying anything. Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly, Brother-in-law, is there still meat for us to eat tomorrow? Once a week. Brother-in-law. I hate you, you let me experience pleasure, but you are unable to control the number of times that pleasure occurs. Qingya was hating iron for not becoming steel. Qing Yutong, can you speak properly? The latter made a funny face, then eagerly ran up and hugged onto Yihua, preparing for the plan that night, to take down brother-in-law, this demon king, in one go. Don't be angry, Yutong is still a child. Yihua said lightly. Qingya stood up and tidied up the table. Child? Other children at this age already know how to walk. Yihua was very gratified. Right now, Qingya knows that she is already tidying up, and doesn't need me to remind her. As her big sister, didn't you just become a bad child? Yihua, just whose side are you standing on? Yihua smiled slightly, and the latter immediately became unwilling. What are you smiling for? Speak clearly. Boss lady boss. At this time, Wei Chang suddenly appeared at the door and behind him was Tang Wei. Qingya let out a sigh of relief and did not find trouble with Yihua anymore. A smart woman would not be fierce towards a man in front of an outsider. Yihua nodded his head, then walked up and hugged onto Qingya. Uncle Wei, I want to take a leave of absence tonight. Tang Wei said a bit embarrassedly. She had forgotten about the matter of treating Qi Shuwen to a meal. Wei Chang nodded his head and did not ask for the reason. Tang Wei thought that Wei Chang was angry and hurriedly explained, Uncle Wei, classmate Qi helped me today, so I have to treat him to a meal. It will only take 2 hours, after that I will come over again. Wei Chang placed down the surrounding stools. It's fine, just have fun with your classmate. You have worked hard on cooking today. Tang Wei's heart sunk. What does Uncle Wei mean by this? He was clearly still fine just a moment ago. Why did his face suddenly change? Could it be that I want to treat other people to a meal? That must be the case. Tang Wei could be seen using her new phone to send a message to Qi Shuwen. I might as well just treat him to a meal tomorrow afternoon. After sending the message, Tang Wei helped Wei Chang place the stools. What's wrong? Wei Chang asked curiously. Nothing much, I feel that work is more important, so I will leave it till tomorrow. Wei Chang patted onto Tang Wei's shoulder. Xiao Tang, since that person helped you and you also promised to help him, then you should fulfill your promise. Uncle Wei, hurry up and go. I didn't expect that. I underestimated Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei is really different from ordinary men. Uncle Wei, I will be leaving first, then I will be back in 2 hours. Without waiting for Wei Chang to reply, Tang Wei ran out of leisure bar. Wei Chang shook his head helplessly. The thinking of humans is really hard to fathom. Chapter 53. At night, Leisure Bar's business was still cold and cheerless. There were only a few people here and there, which made Yihua very unhappy. However, the main culprit was sitting on the bed and gracefully fanning the star-cleansing fan in her hands. Looking at Qingya's expression, Yihua felt hot. Qingya, who was currently watching a drama, noticed Yihua's gaze and immediately hugged onto the quilt, giving Yihua a cold gaze, seemingly saying that if you dare to come over, I will fight you to the death. Letting out a breath, Yihua said faintly, "Go out and smoke a cigarette." After Yihua left, Qingya pouted her mouth. "What do you mean by not touching a woman a second time? Will you die if you don't brag?" Coming to the office, Yihua was a bit vexed. "I am a supreme overlord, the words that I say are like water that is poured out, but today I have this feeling twice in a row. How is this possible?" Lighting up a cigarette and turning on the television, "Right now, only happiness can calm the heat in my heart." Suddenly the office door was pushed open. Oh, brother-in-law, Qing Yutong could be seen wearing a golden cheongsam. She, who had a tall and slender figure, was indeed able to carry the cheongsam, appearing noble and gorgeous. Coupled with the golden fan in her hand, slightly moving her face, revealing a pair of enchanting beautiful eyes, she was simply able to kill everyone. Qing Yutong looked at the stupefied brother-in-law and secretly rejoiced in her heart. "When I make a move, even Xuanzang would have to kneel down and lick my boots. Are you sick? Dressing like this in the middle of the night?" Yihua's mood was already very bad, and when his sister-in-law suddenly appeared wearing a dazzling golden outfit, Yihua was simply shocked. "Master, I already said that this set of clothes of yours is not good, right? You didn't believe me." Qing Yutong was immediately stupefied. "What's not good about me? Long legs, perky but slim waist, big chest, extremely beautiful face. Brother-in-law actually said that I am sick. I am injured. I am injured. I will never be able to recover in this lifetime." Looking at the dazed Qing Yutong leave, Yihua lit up another cigarette. The office was really filled with smoke because these two women were both very worrisome. Qing Yutong, who returned to her bedroom, groaned non-stop, and also felt wronged. I, the Grand Movie Empress, went to seduce brother-in-law and was actually scolded as sick. This face of mine is completely thrown into the gutter. Master, you can't do this directly. Your brother-in-law is a man with principles. There is actually someone who is praising Yihua for having principles. In that case, I have to properly redefine the word, principles. Qing Yutong took off her golden battle gown, wore a pair of shorts and a cartoon short-sleeved shirt, then sat in front of the computer. If one were to look carefully, Qing Yutong's eyes were a bit red. Seems like she was truly hurt, and her pride was hurt. Master, your brother-in-law is here. Dong dong dong. Sure enough, someone knocked on the door. Qing Yutong shook her lower lip, then walked over to open the door. After that, she directly threw herself onto the bed, then used the quilt to cover her head, and put on a posture of not wanting to see anyone. Yihua shook his head. This sister-in-law of mine is really one thing after another. In actuality, Yihua wanted to apologize to his sister-in-law. However, after thinking about it, I am a supreme overlord. If this matter of me apologizing to my sister-in-law were to spread out, where would my face be? Are you used to living here? Yihua asked lightly. Oh. Qing Yutong covered the quilt and let out a pitiful cry. Qing Yutong is using a move of retreating in order to advance. Brother-in-law definitely came over because he felt guilty in his heart, and I threw myself onto the bed, and my perky butt is facing towards brother-in-law. If I didn't guess wrongly, brother-in-law is definitely staring at my butt, and after looking for a while, he won't be able to endure it anymore. At that time if you are not used to living here, you can go home. Yihua said indifferently, then walked out of the room without even turning his head back. Qing Yutong froze. Even after hearing the sound of the door closing, she still did not wake up. This was the first time that she doubted her appearance and figure. Could it be that I am old? Did my butt lose its luster and elasticity? Why is brother-in-law able to face my perky butt so calmly? Just how did big sister do it to actually give birth to a monkey with brother-in-law? Master, after the incident just now, I created a series of walk-throughs for you. The system said helplessly. Qing Yutong clenched her small fists tightly. In this world, which brother-in-law doesn't have any thoughts towards his sister-in-law, let alone such a beautiful sister-in-law. Xiao Guai, give me this brother-in-law's walk-throughs. No problem. First of all, your brother-in-law has to be infatuated with you. The first mission, make brother-in-law be willing to touch your thighs once. Xiao Guai could be said to have spared no effort to find a walkthrough, but if she were to complete all of the missions, brother-in-law would fall apart on his own. Xiao Guai, I didn't expect that your heart is so evil. Qing Yutong said with a face full of disdain. Master, Don't think that it is just a small mission. As long as brother-in-law is willing to help, you have already won half of the mission. Qing Yutong thought for a bit, and it really does seem like that. Just that, how can I lure brother-in-law to touch my thighs? This is the problem. From today onwards, I am going to wear miniskirts and miniskirts. Master, you are wrong again. I suggest that you learn from your big sister. I don't want to learn from her, always putting on a stern face. She has always been like that since young. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth and said. In actuality, Qing Yutong was just not used to seeing Big Sister's high and mighty attitude, but after coming back this time she discovered that Big Sister had changed. The system knew its master's personality and did not force her. Master, it will be fine as long as you insist on being yourself. How do you think my big sister pushed down brother-in-law? Did she drug him? Xiao Guai, is there any drug that is a bit more powerful in the system shop? Forget it, just take it that I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? We are grasshoppers on the same boat. You better overdraft me a bit. If not, how are the two of us going to act cool? How are we going to fly? Master, can you have a bit of moral integrity? Even if you want to hug someone's thigh, you shouldn't do it like this. I might as well just sleep together with big sister and brother-in-law. Qing Yutong thought and rushed out of the bedroom. Not long later, Qing Yutong's miserable shriek and Qing Ye's scolding could be heard from the bedroom. Qing Yutong, who had a gray face and hair, suddenly closed the door. Damn, big sister's temper is getting bigger and bigger. Even when we were young, I didn't see her having such a big reaction when we slept together. Master, can you have a bit of face? F***K, it is already shameless for you to come out with this kind of mission, and you are still asking me to have face? I think that your skin is itching. You are asking for a beating. In the bedroom. Yi Hua leaned on the bed and said with a slight smile, our bed is big enough, it is fine to let Yutong come over and sleep. Alright, you go and call her then. Qing Ye said coldly, giving off the feeling of a fierce wife. Yi Hua did not say anything. Qing Ye, who is jealous, is still rather cute. Tonight you can lean over, but don't drool. Who wants to lean on you? Qing Ye rolled up the blanket and leaned on the side. Yi Hua did not say anything and turned off the light. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The clock on the wall rang very regularly and Qing Ye finally couldn't take it anymore. She turned around and hugged onto Yi Hua. Don't misunderstand, I am just used to hugging onto things when I sleep. If not, I won't be able to fall asleep. You are saying that I am a thing? Yi Hua said gravely. Chapter 54. On Monday, Long and city was shrouded by dark clouds, and soon after, it started drizzling. Yi Hua opened his eyes, subconsciously touched onto his chest and let out a sigh of relief. Turning his head around, he looked at Qing Ye, who was sleeping soundly at the side, and the corner of his mouth hooked up into an arc. Stretching out his hand, he stroked onto Qing Ye's smooth hair. Sob, sob, sob. Seeing that Qing Ye was about to wake up, Yi Hua immediately retracted his hand. What time is it? Qing Ye asked faintly. 6 o'clock. I'll buy breakfast for you. Yi Hua's heart trembled, then said slowly, don't go, it's raining outside. And then I will sleep for a while more. Wake me up at 7 a.m. After finished speaking, Qing Ye gradually fell asleep again. All right. Yi Hua was unable to fall asleep again. If I didn't hear wrongly just now, she said that she was going to buy breakfast. Yi Hua suddenly smiled, and this time the arc of his smile was especially big. Is this the kind of mutual concern that humans have? Was this the so-called husband and wife? I remember that a very long time ago I had also killed a few couples. Even now, I still remember that at that time, that human woman died, and that man became especially crazy. Although it was all futile, I am very curious as to why he was so sad. However, right now I finally understand. If someone were to take this woman's life, then I... Yi Hua, what time is it? Qing Ye, who was in a daze, asked indistinctly. If Yi Hua was to choose, he hoped that Qing Ye would forever remain in this half-asleep, half-awake state. Right now, she was just like a little kitten, just that after she woke up, she would become an unfeeling cat that would always go against others. Yi Hua took a look at the clock. It will be 7 o'clock in 10 minutes. Qing Ye opened her beautiful eyes, and the soft expression that she had just now completely disappeared. Sitting up, Qing Ye stretched her waist, while Yi Hua, who was leaning on the head of the bed, looked at this enchanting back view. I have killed countless people, and I didn't expect that I would actually be able to have a human lying beside me right now. Qing Ye paused for a bit, seemingly preparing to have an argument with Yi Hua in the morning. After waiting for a minute, Yi Hua still didn't say anything, causing Qing Ye to be extremely puzzled. Could it be that this fellow is using some new tactic today? Wearing the SpongeBob SquarePants version slippers, Chinya decided to not move in the dark. I will go and wash up first, then go to work. If he doesn't allow me, I will. I will. I will. I will. I will cry. I will make a scene. I will make a scene. I will cry. I will make a scene. Ah. Right after walking into the bathroom, Chinya let out a shriek as if she had seen Yi Hua's real body. Yi Hua thought that Chinya had fallen, and without caring about anything else, his figure immediately appeared in the washroom. Just that, the fall that Chinya imagined didn't happen. Instead, Chinya looked at the mirror and touched her own face. That shocked look on her face made Chinya think that her face was disfigured. If there's nothing, don't randomly shout. Yi Hua said gravely, then opened the door and walked out. Chinya didn't even know that Yi Hua had come in, and she was completely shocked by her own appearance. Why is it that I am much more beautiful than yesterday? Her skin had truly reached a rosy white state. Oh my God, how did she become so beautiful? No, she couldn't be any more beautiful. Otherwise it would be too easy for that guy. He had such a beautiful wife, yet he was still so talkative. If it was someone else, they would have already worshipped her like an empress dowager, hitting wherever she pointed. After washing up, Chinya discovered that Yi Hua was not in the bedroom. This is a good opportunity. She immediately changed into a suit, picked up her bag and walked with her body bent like a thief. However, the sound that came out from her high heels was a bit too loud. Chinya was also trying to deceive herself. After walking down the stairs without any mishaps, Chinya patted her chest. However, upon thinking that Yi Hua would be worried about me, and when the time comes, he might throw a tantrum like that day. Forget it, I'll just leave him a note. Pressing the note on the bar counter, Chinya quietly left Leisure Bar, then drove the Audi A8 that was parked outside and headed towards Long and City's branch. Just after Chinya left, Yi Hua walked out from the side of the hall. In actuality, he saw everything, but he just didn't stop him. Looking at the note in his hand, Yi Hua laughed lightly, and the note instantly turned into dust. Yi Hua, I am going to work now. I really have a very important matter to deal with. After I finish dealing with it, I will be working at home. Also, I hope that you can accompany me to tonight's banquet. If not, we will really have to eat dirt. This silly woman, she can even enjoy dragon meat whenever she wants with me. How can she possibly eat dirt? Today my mood is pretty good, so I decided to change my taste and go to the street to buy a fruit jianbing. I also want to add an extra egg and an extra ham. Just that, human aunties are too stingy, they even want to pay for the food they add. Don't you know that it is your honor for me to eat at your place? Just after Yi Hua left, a scream that could even make the gods cry rang out from Qin Yutong's bedroom. Qin Yutong held onto her own face in disbelief. I have been looking at this face for more than 20 years, how can it become so beautiful today? Although the change is not very big, it is still beautiful, and even I want to go up and lick it. Little sweetheart, did you do something to me last night? Not bad, just stand in front of brother-in-law with this face. I don't believe that brother-in-law will be able to endure it. A strong self-confidence swelled up in Qin Yutong's heart. I am not bragging, just by crooking my finger, brother-in-law will be able to push me down. The system also had a stupefied look on its face. Master? Little darling, you don't have to say any more. Although you are a bit stingy normally during crucial times, you are still rather reliable. Qin Yutong lightly flipped her hair, then bit onto her lower lip. My God, I really wish that I could *ck myself. Why do I have to look like this? This action of biting onto my lower lip is really unbearable for me. I have to go and show off in front of big sister. After finished speaking, Qin Yutong ran out and barged into Yi Hua's bedroom without even knocking on the door. Originally, I thought that there would be some explosive scene, but in the end, the bedroom was empty. What did the two of them do so early in the morning? When she came downstairs, she still did not see anyone. Qin Yutong, who was bored, straightforwardly sat on the bar counter and laughed foolishly. Yesterday, brother-in-law actually treated me like that. Today he will definitely regret it to death. Not long later, the target appeared. Qin Yutong excitedly ran in front of Yi Hua, who was currently eating a fruit jianbing. Brother-in-law, look at my face, do you feel that it is different? Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. This should be the effect of the golden crane meat. I didn't expect that the effect would be quite good. The overall effect of sister-in-law has become perfect. Just that, the current sister-in-law is still not proper. It is indeed different, there is more eye wax. Yi Hua said calmly, then walked past Qin Yutong, who was absent-minded, and walked up the stairs. Auditory hallucination just now, I definitely had an auditory hallucination. Not mentioning other things, just based on this face of mine, I can even kill a child, and brother-in-law actually said that I have eye wax. How is this possible? Master, there is indeed a small piece of eye wax at the corner of your eyes. Ah. Why didn't you say so earlier? Qin Yutong felt that she followed the wrong teammate. Don't you even know how to remind me? Chapter 55. Oh. Brother-in-law must be playing hard to get. I'm sorry. After all, I'm his sister-in-law. It's inevitable that I'm a little shy. Brother-in-law, with a smile on her face, Qin Yutong pushed open the office door, and saw that her brother-in-law was currently smoking beside the window. Yihua didn't turn his head around and just responded. Where's sis? I went to work. Oh, Qin Yutong stood on the tip of her toes and tried to figure out her brother-in-law's thoughts. Right now, I am unable to attack and I have to retreat in order to advance. Brother-in-law, I'll go back to my room first. Qin Yutong said tenderly. The moment she turned around, she was shouting in her heart, quickly shout, I know that it is very hard for you to endure, don't be reserved. 1 minute later, Yihua extinguished the cigarette and looked at Qin Yutong, who was frozen at the doorway. Didn't you want to return to your room? Qin Yutong was once again injured. Brother-in-law really doesn't give me any face at all. When big sister is still around, brother-in-law still hugged onto my waist, but now that big sister is not around, brother-in-law doesn't even look at me in the eye. Master, your brother-in-law is not an ordinary man. That's right, ordinary men would have long pounced on me. Qin Yutong helplessly returned to her room. She had to properly organize her thoughts. Long in City's Qingqing International Building used to be the headquarters, but for the sake of development, the headquarters had already been moved to Gaohai City. After all, Gaohai City was a first-rate commercial city. After parking the car at the company's parking lot, Qinya picked up her handbag and opened the car door. At this moment she once again transformed into the cold and arrogant female CEO, and at this time, it was also the peak hour of work. There were quite a lot of employees who were working at the parking lot, and all of them were looking at this mysterious woman. Oh my God, when did such a beautiful woman come to our company? Could it be the new director? That's impossible. I heard that the position of director has already been decided internally. I really want to hug her thighs and lick her. She's in the elevator. I have to charge bro instantly. Many champions of the 100-meter dash appeared in the parking lot. Brother, why are you running? I don't know. I saw them running so I ran too. Qinya was as cold as frost as she swept her gaze across the employees inside the elevator. Could it be that they don't even recognize me, the CEO? Wouldn't that be? Qinya's change in the past few days was very big, especially today. If it wasn't for the fact that Yihua often met Qinya, Yihua wouldn't dare to be sure. The current Qinya couldn't be described with words. It smells so good. How can this fragrance be so special? It must be the fragrance of the woman behind me. After so many years of fighting, this should be the fragrance of her body. Is there such a body fragrance? The one in my family also has a body fragrance, and every time she smells me half to death. Hearing these teasing words, Qinya's expression became even colder. Just how does this Lu Hang manage his employees? His employees are just like this. This time, Qinya misunderstood. With your looks, would men be able to stand it? Wasn't it just to satisfy his craving for words? When he passed through the lobby, the elevator opened. Director Lu. Director Lu. Director Lu. All the employees were taken aback. They shouted at the man standing at the elevator door respectfully. Lu Hang was already used to it. Just as he was preparing to enter the elevator, his gaze focused and he hurriedly shouted, CEO Qing. CEO Qing? All the male employees in the elevator were stunned. Who was Director Lu calling Director Qing? He was even bowing with such respect. Immediately he thought of the woman behind him. Thinking about it again, there was only one person who could make Director Lu treat her with such respect, and her surname was Qing. That was the cool and elegant CEO Qing Ya. Chairman Qing. Chairman Qing. Chairman Qing. The employees in the elevator sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Thinking back to what they said in the elevator just now, their hearts became cold. I actually took liberties with the CEO. I'm finished. Qingya replied calmly. Not knowing who was the one who quietly ran away in an instant, the elevator that was full just now was empty, leaving only Qingya alone. Director Lu, pay attention to the problem of the employee's quality. Qingya reminded coldly. Lu Hang did not dare to say much and hurriedly nodded his head. He carefully walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the top floor. The moment when the elevator door closed, the entire lobby went into an uproar. What happened to you all just now? What did you all run out for? A girl asked curiously. Damn, it scared me to death. I actually took liberties with CEO Qing just now. I'm finished, I can forget about getting promoted in this lifetime, I was just preparing to run for the position of team leader. What? CEO Qing came. All kinds of gossip immediately spread out in the lobby. Some said that CEO Qing came back to prepare for the marriage. After all, Long Outyan's matter had caused an uproar. Unfortunately, Long Outyan was currently still training in the mountains and it would be hard for him to come back in a short while. Standing not far away was a security guard who looked rather handsome. Hearing the surrounding discussions, he slightly frowned. This CEO Qing was the organization's final mission. Presumably, this woman had a lot to do with the organization's destruction. But to be honest, this woman was very beautiful, but with her capabilities she was still not enough to destroy the organization. Just who was it? To be able to destroy the organization in an instant, that person's ability was definitely very strong, but I myself am not weak either. Arriving at the top floor, Lu Hang said respectfully, CEO Qing, the office is already prepared. No need, hold a video conference today, I have some matters that I need to hand over, in the future we will use video conference. Qing said faintly. Giving birth to a child cannot be sloppy, the child has to properly recuperate. If not, that fellow Yi Hua will definitely make a big fuss. I wonder what kind of reaction he will have when he sees the note that I left behind. I reckon that he will explode from anger. I won't talk back when I go back this afternoon. Lu Hang was sure that this matter was related to that man, but he did not dare to speak carelessly. CEO Qing, I understand. Go and gather the higher-ups for a meeting. Yes. Qing mainly wanted to explain the company's development route for the next few months, and also to buy a broadcasting platform for her sister. In order to achieve the goal of fast growth, buying a small company would do. With her sister's fame, the company would be able to instantly become a large-scale broadcasting platform. While Qingya was working hard, Yi Hua looked at Happy World out of boredom. Just that, he was a bit absent-minded. After checking his body for a bit, he did not find anything strange. Turning on the computer, Yi Hua asked Baidu what was his situation. What kind of answers are these, stupid? Yi Hua said displeased. How can I possibly be absent-minded because of a woman? This is truly a fantasy. Definitely not possible. Drooling while sleeping, moaning while dreaming, making weird sounds, and even likes to contradict me. All kinds of bad habits gathered together. If not for the fact that she is pregnant with my child, how would I possibly look at her differently? Misconception. Definitely misconception. Taking out a stick of cigarette, Yi Hua began to puff out smoke. This woman really messed up my life. Yi Hua frowned. This sister-in-law of mine likes to make a big fuss when she has nothing to do. 10 minutes later. The corner of Yi Hua's mouth began to twitch. Another 10 minutes passed. Chapter 56. Brother-in-law, Qing Yutong threw herself into Yi Hua's embrace with a crying tone. This was not Qing Yutong pretending, she was really scared. What kind of freaking game is this? I just parachuted and picked up a small pistol, then the moment I opened the door, bang bang bang, I died. There was also a gun, I happily picked up a 98K and just when I walked up the stairs, bang bang bang. Qing Yutong felt that this game cannot be played, such a big map, and there are only a total of 100 people, but I keep feeling that there are 99 people staring at me. The main point was that the sudden gunshots practically scared Qing Yutong to death, because the system said to adjust the volume of the earphones to the maximum, that way she would be able to hear the footsteps, but Qing Yutong could only hear her own screams. Although she had the system's assistance, she was still a girl after all, her state of mind was not that good, and it was very easy for her to be scared by unknown things. What happened? Seeing that his sister-in-law was so wronged, Yi Hua asked gravely, who dares to bully my sister-in-law? Qing Yutong pointed at the computer and said pitifully, they bullied me. Yi Hua went closer to the computer, it is just a game, what a fuss. Brother-in-law, help me take revenge. Qing Yutong was unwilling. Brother-in-law looks very powerful, he will definitely be able to get chicken. Yi Hua sighed, the games developed by humans are too childish, what's the point of this kind of virtual fighting and killing, boring. However, his sister-in-law was bullied as the brother-in-law, as the supreme overlord, he had to get back his face. How do we play? Yi Hua lit up a cigarette and asked faintly. At the start, there is no parachute, equipment is all snatched. Although Qing Yutong did not finish a few rounds, she still managed to comprehend the profoundness of the game. Yi Hua thought that it was something and said faintly, bring me an ashtray. Okay, Qing Yutong eagerly went to prepare an ashtray, soda, spicy bar, and even stood behind Yi Hua and gave him a massage. It was simply a 5-star enjoyment. Brother-in-law, click on that game and start. Yi Hua clicked on it unhurriedly and very quickly he entered the game. Brother-in-law, you need to wear earphones to play, if not you won't be able to play well. Qing Yutong reminded. Yi Hua flicked the cigarette ash. Just watch. Oh, Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Brother-in-law is so awesome, he doesn't even need to wear earphones. Right after the image appeared, Yi Hua narrowed his eyes and instantly pressed the F button. Brother-in-law, why did you press F so quickly? You have to look at the map? Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Yi Hua said gravely, be quiet. Oh, controlling the keyboard and mouse, Yi Hua was finally able to land on the ground safely. Brother-in-law, there's someone running towards you. Quickly run. Qing Yutong immediately became excited, and both of her hands slapped onto Yi Hua, telling him to quickly run. What kind of joke was this? As a supreme being, did he still need to run? Back then he had faced an enemy 10 times stronger than him without any fear, yet a mere human wanted him to run. Childish. Brother-in-law, he's coming. Hammer him. Yi Hua snorted coldly. A mere trash actually dares to strut around in front of me? Brother-in-law, move. Qing Yutong hurriedly shouted. Unhurriedly, Yi Hua pressed his left button and threw out an uppercut. His opponent suddenly jumped up and punched him. The screen turned black. Yi Hua, Qing Yutong. The other party's voice immediately rang out from the earpiece that was placed on the table. Brat, spar with me, the king of fist, you better practice more. Yi Hua stared blankly at the screen. Qing Yutong understood her brother-in-law's current feelings and consoled him. Brother-in-law, don't be afraid, stand up and continue rubbing. How is this possible? To actually get my head blown up by a mere human? This is simply a great humiliation, and I even received consolation from my sister-in-law. Lighting up another cigarette, Yi Hua re-entered the game. I was careless just now. Brother-in-law, don't be anxious, let's jump to a place with less people. Although Qing Yutong was timid, she still had some brains. With my current level, we definitely cannot jump to a place with more people. Yi Hua opened up the map. How can I possibly jump to a place with less people? That would be a display of cowardice. I, the Supreme Overlord, have killed countless of people. When have I ever been a coward? Brother-in-law, why did you jump to such a densely packed house? I was forced to death by that old man just now. Be quiet. Yi Hua said gravely. A lousy game can't even get me, the Supreme Overlord. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth. Seems like brother-in-law is even more of a noob than me, and he even has such an unfathomable look on his face. Yi Hua observed for a bit. At least 10+ people jumped to this place, then I shall let you all see the consequences of angering the Supreme Overlord. Brother-in-law, quickly enter the house and pick up the gun. Yi Hua did not even enter the house. He stood on the main road and said in disdain, guns are things for children to play with, fists are the hard and fast rule. Qing Yutong was stupefied and said foolishly, brother-in-law, can you not act cool? Right after Qing Yutong finished speaking, the screen turned black. Shameless humans. To actually launch a sneak attack. To not even have the courage to fight one-on-one? How is this any different from those humans in the past, bastard? Don't think that Wei Chang's one-track mind came for no reason. Like boss, like subordinate. Brother-in-law, how about returning the gun to me? Qing Yutong said tenderly. Brother-in-law's expression didn't seem to be too good, it even turned black. Yi Hua did not say anything and once again clicked into the game. It was still the same place, but this time, Yi Hua did not stand in the middle of the road. Despicable humans, you all are destined to suffer the wrath of the Supreme Overlord. Brother-in-law, gun. Qing Yi pointed to a corner of the house. I am not blind. Yi Hua used a very slow speed to pick up the M16 along with the 60 bullets. I never thought that there would be a day where I, the Supreme Overlord, would use a gun. This is so ironic. Just when he finished searching a small bedroom, he turned around. Bang! A shotgun ended Yi Hua's character, and the screen turned black once again. The cigarette in Yi Hua's mouth burned out, and the ashes slowly fell down just like Yi Hua's mood. I was actually killed by a human 3 times. A whole 3 times. This is an extraordinary shame and humiliation. If this hatred is formed, do you believe that with a snap of my fingers all of you will die? Brother-in-law, I told you to wear your earphones but you didn't. You are so noob, and I was actually looked down upon by my sister-in-law. Brother-in-law, don't be angry, sister-in-law will take revenge for you. I even need sister-in-law to take revenge for me. If this were to be spread out, where would I put my face? Brother-in-law, how can you be so shameless? I want to play as well. Only then did Qin Yutong experience the fun of the game, while Yi Hua was driven mad by this game. Brother-in-law, how about you go and buy a high-end computer and place it here, then we will be able to play as a duo. The computer in your office definitely won't be able to play. Yi Hua was a person who would definitely take revenge on any grudge. Other than Qinya, this game made Yi Hua very angry. Help me buy it. Phone, Qin Yutong stretched out her hand. I didn't expect that I would inadvertently create a situation where I am playing a game with brother-in-law. From now on, I won't be far from pushing brother-in-law down. Chapter 57. If Yi Hua's subordinates were to find out that His Honor had actually injured himself because of a game, I wonder what they would think. However, Yi Hua's subordinates would definitely come over to persuade His Honor. Your Honor, this is just a game, there is no need to be so serious about it. When Yi Hua became serious, even he himself would be afraid. One must know that Yi Hua had relied on himself to walk onto the path of a king step by step from a small undead. The hardships and deaths that he had faced on this path were something that only he himself could understand. However, he had never said that it was bitter, and he also didn't feel that it was bitter. In fact, it was even a kind of enjoyment. Before the computer arrived, Yi Hua was silently watching his sister-in-law play the game, and from there he could understand the characteristics of the game, even though she would not last more than 10 minutes every time she played the game. If Qingye was a whining monster, then her sister-in-law would be a shivering monster. Every time she was mysteriously beaten to death by someone, her entire body would tremble, and her eyes would become absent-minded. Afterward, she would turn her head around and look at me pitifully. That expression of hers that was begging for consolation was simply unparalleled. This sister-in-law was indeed different. Qingye wouldn't reveal such an expression. On the other side, Qingye was currently sitting in the conference room and eating lunch boxes with the company's higher-ups. Of course, it was to speed up the conference. Looking at the entire conference room, there were only 2 middle-aged women among all the higher-ups. The rest were all men. Although it was a conference, it was also an appreciation party. Even when they were eating, they still peeked at the female CEO who was sitting at the head of the table. How could there be such a beautiful woman in the world? He had gone to the headquarters for meetings in the past. Although it was also very amazing at that time, it was not as explosive as today. No matter how delicious the food in front of him was, it could not be compared to the feeling of quietly glancing at him. Meanwhile, after Qingye ate a few mouthfuls, she couldn't eat any more. It wasn't that it wasn't tasty, rather she felt that it was a bit disgusting. Thinking to herself, this is the symptom of a pregnant woman, Qingye blamed Yi Hua in her heart. If it wasn't for him, would I be feeling so disgusted, especially today? She didn't know what he was doing now. Didn't he know how to call to show his concern? He wasn't behaving like a husband at all. Upon seeing the ring on her ring finger, Qingye's negative emotions immediately disappeared. Feeling elated, the corner of Qingye's mouth unconsciously revealed a light smile. Instantly, the sound of saliva being swallowed could be heard in the conference room. Their eyeballs were about to pop out. So CO Qing looks like this when she smiles. She's really beautiful. She's so beautiful. Qingye took a glance at everyone, and everyone immediately lowered their heads to eat. Sigh, I was originally already pretty enough, but now that I have become so pretty, it is also a troublesome thing. I will definitely incur the jealousy of others, especially those noble women. It is all Yi Hua's fault in any case, I am the scapegoat. I don't know what he's doing now. He's definitely ordering takeout, and it must be crayfish. He's letting his sister peel crayfish for him. That's good too. When his sister can't take it anymore, she'll naturally go home. The meeting continued all the way until 4 p.m. Other than the half-an-hour break during the meal, the meeting had been going on the entire time. It must be said that Qingye was very formidable. Her reputation as a strong woman was not undeserved. Meeting dismissed. Qingye shouted coldly, picked up her bag and walked out of the conference room, preparing to go home and see what Yi Hua was doing. In actuality, Qingye was also very nervous in her heart. If I were to open the bedroom door and discover Yi Hua and my little sister lying on the bed, what should I do? This fellow is definitely capable of doing it. The higher-ups didn't know why the CEO was so anxious. Perhaps only General Manager Lu Hang had figured out a little, but he didn't dare to say much. Driving the car, Qingye rushed back at top speed. Her beautiful eyes were filled with killing intent. This is definitely the attitude of a wife catching her adulterer. If Yi Hua really dares to do something that lets me down, then I will perish together with him. Qingye, who was driving the car, began to let her imagination run wild. The scene of her man and her little sister lying on the bed actually appeared in her mind, causing her beautiful eyes to turn red. Sigh, there's nothing I can do, my pregnant woman syndrome is acting up again. I love to let my imagination run wild. Stopping the car at the entrance of Leisure Bar, Chinya took a few deep breaths and walked into Leisure Bar. There was no difference from when she left the bar. Quietly going upstairs, Chinya's heart was beating faster and faster, especially when she was standing at the entrance of the bedroom. Her entire body was nervous to the limit, her delicate hand that was holding onto the door handle was trembling. This door is already opened. If it is really the same as what I imagined, then what should I do? Don't open it? I should first give Yihua a call and tell him that I am coming back. This way I won't know anything. With a very complicated feeling, in the end, Chinya still chose to push open the bedroom door. When she saw the neat big bed, the top of the bed was completely empty, and a rock that was suspended in the air was placed down. Could it be that this fellow is watching Jubilant movie in the office? How old is he already? Really, in the future he should just bring the kid to watch cartoons. Pushing open the door of the office, the inside of the office was also completely empty. Where is he? Chinya silently looked towards the storeroom that was previously in the office. Right now, it had become her little sister's bedroom, and Yihua is actually in her little sister's bedroom. The rock that was originally suspended in the air once again. Chinya tightly clenched her delicate hands, stood at the side of the door, took a deep breath, then fiercely pushed open the door. A foul atmosphere could be seen inside, and two figures could be seen in front of Chinya's eyes. On the table at the side, there were 2 buckets of instant noodles and an empty package of spicy gluten, and the red soy sauce inside the package had all flowed onto the table. How can these 2 people be so sloppy? Brother-in-law, give me the expansion clip. Change the silencer. How can it be like this, brother-in-law? Your marksmanship is so lousy, you can't even hit the person. Change the silencer. Shoo, someone is coming, quickly hide, quickly hide. Chinya didn't know whether to laugh or cry. These 2 fellows are actually playing a game. Seems like even being joyful is unable to satisfy their childish hearts. Walking in quietly, Chinya stuck her head in between the 2 and took a look curiously, only to see that the 2 of their characters were lying on the haystack. The little sister had a nervous look on her face, and Yihua looked very strange, as if he had eaten a fly. Qin Yutong originally wanted to mock her brother-in-law, but who knew that when she saw a head of black hair, she was scared witless and unconsciously pressed the left mouse button. Tap tap tap. Yihua said gravely, Qin Yutong, what are you shooting for? Don't you know that you will be exposed? Big sister, you are annoying. Don't make any sound when you walk. Qin Yutong's fist landed onto Qin Ye's arm, and she immediately controlled her own character. The other party already knew her position. Brother-in-law, cover me, I'm going to fight with them. Yihua shouted gravely, fight for what? Go around to the side. Seems like after going through countless of deaths, Yihua also knew how to use tactics. Thinking back then, Yihua never used any tactics. He would just push his way through, firmly believing that all tricks were just paper tigers in front of absolute strength. Brother-in-law, I got knocked down, quickly come and help me. Why are you so stupid? Yihua couldn't help but say. In this game, forming a party relied on team spirit. If I played this game a few hundred years ago, how could I possibly be wiped out by that group of humans? You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.